Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Today is Robe Trader Friday. That's right. Today is the day where we put on our robe on Friday, get prepared for a comfortable weekend, and make millions of dollars. That's what we do on this channel. Just wanted to point out, I did start something today because we're seeing this drop off dramatically with those earnings coming in. We're seeing us drop off dramatically. We're seeing things like volatility start to increase by more than 10% here, starting to pop off to the upside. The dollar seeing a huge increase. Remember, bad news as we get above 105.65. So what I did was I'm doing 25% off the course for 25 people this weekend. This is going to be one of the last sales for YouTube before that bear market begins, and we can get you that bear market strategy while teaching you in depth about all of this stuff, all of these indicators, all of this RSI, everything here, divergences. You can learn all those things over one weekend and come back next week with a fresh style, a fresh new outlook on the stock market and these indicators. And remember, that's just for 25% off for 25 people. That saves you $50 over the weekend. And then you can take that course and come back with a fresh perspective. Wanted to point that out this morning. Now, that's just something we're doing. If you want that coupon code, we're going to release that at 10 o'clock this morning. So you got to stick around for 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to give out that coupon code. And remember, it's just the first 25 people to get it. And then after this weekend, we're going to put that coupon code over on Patreon for that 25% off. But right now, it's just the first 25 people this weekend. So I think it's a good opportunity. We're seeing volatility skyrocket here, which is very, very good for that strategy, right? What we haven't been able to break out, we're seeing that resistance come in just there at that trend. We got to break through this trend. But as of right now, 16, good level here. Once you get above 16, you can utilize that strategy that you get over in the course down in the description. All you're going to want to do is stick around for 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is going to be where we actually give that out. So you might hear me say that a bunch today, and I'm sorry about that because we're going to have to mention it a bunch as people trickle in. So people could spam that in the chat randomly. Just be like, hey guys, know that at 10 o'clock, the 25% off coupon code comes out. That'd be nice throughout the morning stream. Good morning and facts. Yes, today we are in our robe and we're making millions of dollars. One of the trades that we were looking at was Google, but we're going to go through a lot of stocks real quick. We're going to do a little breakdown real quick, 7 minutes till open. So we're going to do this really, really fast. All right. We're going to break through these. All right, the SPY starting to curl back down. Now, something funny about the SPY in the pre-market here, I keep seeing it do this and then buy up. I keep seeing it do this and then buy up. I literally keep seeing it touch this area right here and buy up. So remember that even though this is all bad news, volatility is skyrocketing, all that good stuff, we are at the lower side expected move. So we'd really like to get below that and use it as resistance going forward, but this is a very, very big move for the SPY. We're going to see this MACD. Remember, we talked about it last night. If the 30-minute curls over into negative territory, that's a bad sign. The positive thing that's not going to happen, as of right now, 2-hour not able to go positive. Remember, that's your bullish sign. The 30-minute rolling over, well, now we can go negative again, and we might even take out this low if this starts to really escalate. If we see some of that distribution happening there. Q's, similar story. Look at that. It's going right towards daily expected move. So the important part with this is pay attention to your individual stocks where they're hitting their daily expected move. See if they're using them as resistance if you're part of the Patreon. What bad news? JP Morgan actually released. We're going to go look at JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. JP Morgan releasing earnings, giving some downside there. And I literally read about it. I was up early. I read about it for the last like 30 minutes. So the thing about the Qs, similar thing, but a little bit further up into positive territory. So pay attention if that curls back up. Remember, we can see that positivity come back in. Still a good opportunity as we're seeing this go down to get that course. So at 10 o'clock, we're going to be releasing that coupon code for you, which will give you 25% off the course, save you $50 this weekend. The Qs, similar thing to the SPY, right? Closing down here, we want to see if we could use this as resistance. Or remember, this is the area where you actually have a 68% chance to go up from here. So just pay attention to that going forward. We're going to check on JP Morgan here in a moment because that thing's selling off. Apple, well, this was a great trade, guys. Congratulations and thank you if you are subscribed and you found this information helpful, right? We had to, oh, there's a bug. The bug here. We had to kind of get in, get out, right? Get in, get out. Okay, so we were in. I think I took profit up in this area with some 15-minute divergences. And then, boom, we come down. I scale into a position right here. get stopped out, scale in again, boom, going for it. So now we get that big move up here. And that was profitable, right? I told you guys I'm taking profit most likely at this level. It got there really, really quick, and I took profit. And then, but we were targeting this zone up here. We said 175, we said 176. Guess what? We come up right in between there, 175.50, touch that zone, and then that resistance. Finally, we get a wick on this big move here on the 30-minute candles. Now that's starting to roll over. The thing about this is still a strong move. So remember, if that just curls up, positive territory, we're going to see that positivity come in. Dang it, I want to wear this robe, but I'm getting hot. Tesla, this one, remember, 2 hour, we were paying attention to that going positive again, but this here on the 30-minute rolls over, goes negative, good shot. We're going to take out this low. Remember, the structure to head down is here now. So if we start to break below this level here, this 167 level, I'd be a little bit worried. Now Amazon going forward, remember this one here is the wonky guy. This one is wonky. I really just want to look at it on a daily scale. You see how, and this is what I was talking about in the video, so I'm going to talk about it again for a quick second here. I just wanted to mention, okay, who is keeping this market up? Well, we see these drops. You keep seeing these drops every time there's buying. Okay, that's telling you there is selling within this overall move. Who is selling? Insiders. Who's buying? Retailers. Buy signal here, yeah, that's why you can't trust those sometimes. Look at this, you're overbought, MACD setting up some divergences, and this indicator is going to tell you to buy. So you want those triggers yourself, which is something we go over in the course, which we're going to give out that coupon at 10 o'clock this morning. So just remember that all of these here, you don't necessarily, even if you have this indicator, you don't want to buy every time you buy. You want the other signals crossing up on the MACD, positive side on the RSI, all those types of things. So Amazon, look at this. I just wanted to point out there is selling within this move, and I'm probably going to have to pause on this stream in a moment and kill this damn fly. It's bugging me. NVIDIA, this one here, right, curls up on the daily. That would be a great sign. Now the 2 hour was able to get towards positive territory, even go a little bit positive. But what if we just roll back down on this 2 hour? So that's what I'd pay attention to for NVIDIA. Little different story on the 30-minute, and you do have daily ranges for this over on Patreon, which is down in the description. But the 30-minute, still positive at this point. One thing I wanted to mention, I was talking about this like going flat upward, right? It's just dry, just kind of droning up like this. Well, when you see this positivity, well, what if sellers step back in? It's kind of like you could get an elevator move down. So I'd pay attention to my daily expected moves for the day. Weekly expected move is a little bit lower. So I don't know if we'll go to that, but just want to point out MACD holding up a little higher, kind of like Apple. So we could base out, do something like this. So pay attention to that daily expected move. This gets close to positive territory, or close to the center line, and then curls up in positive territory. We could see another positive move in NVIDIA. And if that gets the daily to cross, we can still see positivity. But this is showing you with, when we go over JP Morgan, how ugly the market is going to get very soon. AMD, this one rolling over again. The divergence here led to a bounce. Now do we get a triple divergence that bounces? We'll have to see. I'm paying attention to my daily expected move here. This is a pretty good move, so I'm going to go look at that right now. We're outside of the daily expected move already for AMD, so the selling can really escalate here. Be very careful with this trade. Remember, this pop here, it is probably enough to make you a little bit of money, right? And then you say, hey, I'm out before that big event. I don't know what those JP Morgan, I don't know what they're going to say, right? Banks are going to have insight into the economy as well. And that's what we're going to take from this. But right now you had that 2 hour divergence. You have a 30-minute divergence. It looked pretty good, but piece of bad news, boom, downside. See if this is able to create that divergence again. Then you might have a play here. Remember, the market doesn't have to go down in one sudden drop, right? It can really fake people out on the way down. So let's pay attention to that going forward. If we cut this low, though, you'd have to assume we're heading lower. I would see if the divergence holds true or if we get some kind of bigger drop that gets you well into negative territory. Meta, this one is another one. On the daily side, it's kind of just wonky, and this is what I'm talking about. The insiders are selling, and you can see it in the price action here for these stocks like Amazon and Meta. You see every time we get a pop, we have a drop, we have a drop, we have a drop, we have a drop, we have a drop. Every single time there's green, there's red that soon follows. That tells you someone is selling, but someone's keeping this higher. So who's selling? Insiders. Mark Zuckerberg is selling, and retailers are keeping this thing higher. So be very worrisome at these levels. Microsoft, as we open up. Remember, this is a great trade. It has a triple divergence. It has a 2-hour divergence. It has 30-minute divergence, almost a 30-minute divergence or a 2-hour divergence in the near price action, but little stuff in here. So we have to pay attention. Is it going to break through this trend? That's what I would pay attention to this morning. Google, this one is one that's looking pretty good too, right? We have divergence, like a flatness across the MACD up here, but downward move on the RSI tells you it at least needs some kind of pullback to head higher. Remember, the upside here is pretty much 162. The downside possible is 144, okay? So you have a lot more room to the downside than the upside at this point for Google. Now I just wanted to bring up JP Morgan, right? I wanted to bring up JP Morgan and say, look at this thing, getting outside the Bollinger, bad stuff going on there, showing that they are not able to make as much money because of the interest, right? That's really what's going on here. So JP Morgan showing some okay earnings, right? But with that saying, you know, they're not making as much money on the interest anymore, and they're telling you that inflation is a problem. That's what they said in the statement. They're saying inflation is a big problem, and credit's going to be a big problem going forward. So that's what we hear from JP Morgan, and they are not liking that, as JP Morgan is already down over 3%. Now you are at the 50, you're holding up right there. Maybe they stop the selling today. They want to reconnect with these moving averages, get those market makers out of positions, and then see a sudden drop, get some retailers trapped. But if this thing just keeps flushing, this is the first point it would hold up, right? This is the only support in this upward move right here. If we start to break below that, well, we're going to head towards this area in here, somewhere in here, which starts at 176. So you got about 12 points lower we could go if we break down on JP Morgan from right here. Wells Fargo, just wanted to point out, this one not looking as weak. They actually saw like a 7% decrease in revenue, something like that. And so it's not as bad, but this is very, very tight. And now you're starting to spread out to the downside. So be very careful if this starts to cross over, because we could see this just drop dramatically. So be very careful with that. And going forward, looking at volatility, volatility is still up 10%. We want to see if there's any kind of divergences in this move, right? But right now you have to say cup handle, you have to say cup filling. Maybe we get the handle now. Divergence across here, so we could see possible upside from this area as we hit that daily expected move on the SPY and the Qs. And as you see, look at that, we're seeing some green come back into the market. Is this going to be a dead cat bounce? Are we just going to hang out down here for the rest of the day? Well, we get some data, we get some consumer sentiment in about 30 minutes. So is that going to really shake things up or escalate things? We'll have to see. Another rock in our stream. Okay, so pay attention to that going forward. Google not necessarily seeing that weakness. So people still are not convinced of that. All of this is bad for the market. And I'm just going to tell you right now, this is awful for the market. It is awful, right? The dollar getting above 105.65. Remember, 106 is like a crazy level in the market. It's like where a lot of things start to escalate. So once the dollar gets above that, it's going to be pretty bad. And it's already above my target. So this is my red flag at that point. The 10-year dropping off, but will it get the support right around where it broke out from? That's what I'm interested in right now. Let me go back to the daily scale here. If you notice, there was a time where we actually we pumped out of the level here of that 4.495. I just wanted to show you guys how it used it as support, and then went higher. That can happen again unless we see something saved here. So pay attention here. At this level, very important if you're using it as support at that point and then heading higher, just getting kind of a retest. Or if we're going to see that break back down, that would be interesting going forward. So good morning. I just want to say good morning to you guys real quick. I might have to run out and catch this fly. It keeps buzzing around me, and I swear I don't smell. You've really helped me, man. You're so knowledgeable. Hey, thank you, Mojoma. I really appreciate that. And if anyone else wants some help as well, that course, that's why I'm doing it this weekend as things are starting to close beneath these moving averages, as bear market, all this stuff is looking a little bit more sketchy today. Remember, April's where I think we might find the top. Now, we could still go higher towards the end of April, but we're going to be paying attention to the signals. The signals right now telling us, hey, lower prices look likely, but we're at that daily expected move. So is this the moment? Well, if we start to break through those levels, it very well could be. So a course might be something you want to get into this weekend. And I was like, hey, let me give one more chance to get this, give a little discount, 25% off for 25 people, save yourself $50. And at 10 o'clock, we are going to give out that coupon code. So it's just first come, first serve, guys. Need a swing trading course for sure. Big day trader. Yeah, swing trading as well. Everything you learn in the course, take everything you learn, and then literally swing trading is pretty easy. Like it's pretty simple. That's the way to do it. There's still emotions in it and all that good stuff. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right? So you have to pick the right names and choose the right time frames and that kind of thing. Swing trading on day trading is a little bit more difficult. So, but you can use everything you learn in it. VIX getting to 17. That's not looking good. And HYG, one thing I wanted to point out was we're seeing TLT get this bounce, right? A little bit of a bounce. HYG not matching that just yet. Still flat for the day. So we'll have to see if it gains some ground here. But this is really bad, guys. This is really bad. You're closing below this level here twice in a row. Very, very bad. Getting a retest and still heading down from there, breaking through the wick. Like, this is not looking pretty for HYG. Remember, HYG was that signal. It's been going sideways for a long time while the market's been going up. We pay attention to the difference between HYG and the stock market, and now the SPY is most likely going to catch up to this, which would be somewhere around, I believe it's 465, right in this level, so the 200. Apple got some bad news. Well, Apple heading higher. Remember, Apple heading higher here. No 30-minute divergences, nothing like that. So if this wants to, remember, this is a sell-off zone. So right now, Apple going higher when we get a ton of bad news for the overall economy, for the overall market, we get bad news, honestly. And we'll have to see what happens from here. Remember, this is a sell-off zone. We've touched it a few times. What happens when we do touch it? Well, we sell off. What if we sell off again? We'll have to pay attention. But Apple does look like it has some upside. But with everything going on, I'd be very worrisome up here. I would say we're probably outside that daily expected move over on Patreon as well. And Mojoma, if you're a day trader, the daily expected moves and things like that for Fridays are going to be really helpful. So I look forward to you joining the Patreon. But we're almost there. We're about $1 off from that move, so be very careful as we're approaching it because the market is hitting the downside while Apple's hitting the upside. So if Apple starts to flush, well, this can really start to escalate. Tesla flushing down, right? See if that's able to cross on this MACD. Then you got a chance to take out, close below this low, maybe go make a new one. Maybe we do something like this, right? We get a bounce, then we go up, get an ABC pattern. We'll have to pay attention to that going forward. Let's see if JP Morgan, we're going to bounce over to JP Morgan a few times just to see. I just want to look on the daily scale. That's all I want to do. God, you guys saw the fly, right? Oh my goodness. I want to see if it starts to close below the 50. God dang it. Okay. I'm going to take care of this fly. I'm going to take care of this fly. It's bugging me. So give me a second here. Oh God. I saw it this morning. I turned on the plant lights. It was in my plants. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys on we'll leave you on the queues for now, and I'm going to go take care of this fly. I'll be right back. Remember that coupon code's coming out in about an hour and 20 minutes. That's what I'm talking about. Good job, KeyBank. 100% calls of Apple. Yeah, so mine was worth about 160, 175. I think it's 150 to 175. Somewhere in there is where I sold. So good morning. I'm just going to take care of this fly real quick. I can't do that for 3 hours. I can't be doing that. So be right back. And we're back. That didn't take long. Gosh, that's crazy. Stopped out on Apple, call 100%. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Good job on the day. Hopefully a lot of people were able to benefit from that Apple trade. It looked really, really good. And remember, I didn't get mad at my trades that went the wrong way. I just focused up, switched my thinking, switched to a different stock. I don't want to be doing the definition of insanity, right? I don't want to sit there and try to trade TLT, try to trade it. When it's not working out, I go to a different name, and then that one works out, and we're all good. We'll see if Apple keeps going. I mean, it's keeping going. It could head towards that daily expected move. Thanks for the Apple play. I sold at 175.2. That was a great call play. Thank you. Yeah, if you watched last night's video fully, we talked about how the data itself is an inflation. It's saying inflation's going to is still the play, right? So if inflation is still the play, then you'd expect gold. Like I already know. I don't have to go scroll down. It's probably oil's probably higher. Gold is probably higher. Watch. Let's go look. Oil higher, gold higher. It's very, very, yeah, those are kind of like, if you get the inflation data, people are going to keep hedging. But volatility, we just need to break out of this zone here. Dollar, we'll see if that tops out soon at all, but this thing has just been a monster lately. Everything else looking very, very red across the board, except for Google. Google looking good. Google, the one that looks like it should experience the weakness, not really showing you that weakness just yet. So we'll have to see what comes of that. Silver ripping. Good morning, Willow. Paracosm, what up? Them you call yesterday, have another today. We can go look at that too. Baby girl crying. I mean, there is opportunity here, right, for this to create some structure and head up. But as it rolls down, you just want to make sure that's not going negative on you. If that goes negative, you're taking out this low. You're most likely heading down to here towards 117. So just pay attention out there. But it should be pretty simple with the data. Now, today's data, maybe we need to go over that for a split second. Should we go look at the data real quick? Let's do that. I wanted to talk about export versus import prices as well. And the export prices, the year over year, I'm more paying attention to here. 0.3 coming up in consensus, previous 0.7, okay? Now 0.4, 0.3, 0.3. Okay, so we're up a little bit on the import. We're down on our export again, right? So we're lower export than import. That would tell me, I mean, it's pretty much like we're taking in more than we're spending at that point. So, and if you look at it from a yearly perspective, we're exporting at a negative rate, we're importing at a positive rate. That's going to cause more inflation. So Michigan consumer sentiment's what we're waiting for, and that'll come out in about 15 minutes. They said the Iran thing like a week ago, or not a week ago, like on Sunday as well, that 48 hours is all they have. So I'd be careful over the weekend, though. AMD, be very patient. You do not want to try to catch the falling knife. You want to be very patient here with AMD. Make sure that it does this. Maybe you see that daily expected move, which is already outside of it, so you do have that chance for that bounce, but make sure it creates that divergence. Look for a few 30-minute bars like this, and look for that to start to base out, maybe a small double bottom you notice, and then that starts to do this and this. Take back some of these moving averages that start to curl up, right? These are all pointing straight down, so they can all be rejected. We can be rejected by that if we go retest. Be patient. Don't try to take a hero play. Food inflation is insane, so we spent $200 just to pack our freezer full of meat just in case, like a couple months ago. And we do that probably once a month, actually. We just keep storing meat. And yeah, it's we noticed that last time we spent $200, now we get about 25% less the next month, and then this month we got like 25% less from that. So now it's like we only got $150 worth of food, whereas 2 months ago we got $200 worth of food. So I thought that was interesting. Let me say bye to the girls real quick, guys. I'll be right back. Baby girl's upset this morning, but don't worry. She's going to Abuela's house this morning, so she'll be happy in a moment. She always calms down after a nice car ride, right? So, all right, guys, we got about 13 minutes till our next piece of data comes out. So if we talk about SPY or anything like that, well, we're going to have to be paying attention to a 5-minute for a little bit. See if we can continue this selling, right? We have to be able to continue. If we hold up above here, the market makers can manipulate this thing back up. And we actually could see the stock market go back up. Remember, it's still a time to flip back and forth until we see the SPY do what it hasn't done in a long time, which is have two closing, I would say, red bars beneath the 20. Are they going to let that happen? I'm very skeptical, right? Very skeptical. We can look at the Qs. Those, you see those holding up a little bit better right at the moving averages at this point. You need two solid closing bars, and then you can spread out these Bollinger Bands. But every single day, I want to point out, every single day we get closer and closer to negative territory. So it is a time to be very, very cautious. And then the other side is you don't want to say, oh, this has to go negative, right? We've built up a lot of liquidity here that we could see some kind of blow off top move going up, maybe create that divergence for a few days, or even we didn't really get a divergence here. So maybe we even come up to like somewhere up in this area. So we could see a pretty good move out of the Qs if we get some upside. So I would just be very, very careful. We haven't closed beneath those moving averages just yet on the daily scale. Enjoy the selling today, already out for the moment. Nice, see, daily expected move. You know, a lot of these are hitting their daily expected moves, I'd assume. So let's see. Let's go through, see if Apple hitting its daily expected move, just the upside. That's interesting. So you want to know what's holding the market up right now. It's only Apple. Look at all the red across your screen. You got Google barely holding it up. Apple's the only thing keeping this market in play, in my opinion. So Apple's a big, big reason at this point. Tesla, seeing that breakdown. Let's pull up some weekly expected moves and go over those before we get some data here. The downside for Tesla, still looking juicy. You got a few points left on that. Let's go over to Amazon. Amazon, still some room to the downside actually for Amazon. So we want to pay attention to that going forward. The big guy, let's look at NVIDIA. This guy coming down. This guy coming down into its about to its weekly expected move. Okay, it's like 1 point off from it. So that's where it wants to hold up. AMD, you're seeing that escalate. Be very careful. Remember, AMD is well outside of its daily expected move. So now you'd be maybe looking at a weekly expected move. Well, you're almost to the weekly. If you go a few points lower, we're going to be at that weekly expected move down here. So pay attention to AMD down in this area. This is where it looks like it would get a bounce somewhere around that 159, 160 level. Going forward, Meta, this guy here, daily expected move, we have pretty much gone to it at this point. So the downside daily expected move, we've touched it at this point, and you're seeing that reaction. See if we can break through that level. That would be more telling that the selling is going to continue. Microsoft going forward, this one here was outside of its daily expected move, and then that started to buy back up. So not able to cross just yet. This is where the market can be manipulated. We can see this push up, and then people get out of the market makers get out of positions and all that kind of thing. You know, the big boys get out of position, sell to the people who are buying the dip, and then this thing just starts to break down. But we can still see stuff curl up, so we just want to pay attention to some risk ranges. I think they're very, very good. Now, Google seeing an upward move here. Very interesting for Google to see the upward move, but maybe that hits the topside expected move soon, right? So we have to pay attention to the upside for Google at this point because it's positive. So let's see, 162, pretty much 163. is going to be what we pay attention to. Well, that's way up here, guys. There's a lot of room to the upside, but also a lot of room. You're pretty much in the middle at this point. So pay attention to Google going forward. Maybe looking at TLT, we can figure out, daily range for this. Seeing a good reaction here outside of its daily expected move for now. So that could tell me, hey, maybe this thing is going to gain some steam from this area. So remember, this is the one that I was playing. I had to get in, stayed risk managed. So pay attention because this could just come react to this level and fade. High likelihood that TLT drops off, but that might be dependent on data in a moment. So we'll pay attention to that. Volatility still up by over 10%. So a green day in the next 2 trading sessions is 85% chance for that on the SPY. But if the volatility can start to do this, remember, we want to pay attention if that 50 is able to get across that 200. And look at that. We're getting so close at this point. We keep going. As we hold above the 200, we keep going. We keep going. Boom. Once that happens, we can start to use that as support on the way up. Get above 20, and that's where the real big volatility comes in, and that's why you might want a course. So we're going to be putting out that course coupon. 25 people get 25% off. Save yourself $50. We're going to give that out at 10 a.m. Okay, 10 a.m. So stick around for that if you're interested, or take a break, get some coffee, and come back. Maybe you need to reload, right? Get some coffee, reload, and come back around 10 o'clock and get that coupon code. First come, first serve. First 25 people get it. But how's everyone's plays going this morning? Mike, how's your play going this morning? You playing anything? Missed that Apple trade you mentioned on your video, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that, Alan. Sold those Apple calls early. Guess a scalp is a scalp. IWM relative weakness. Yeah, IWM doesn't look that pretty, does it? It doesn't look that pretty. And the thing about IWM on the 30-minute here, you're curling down negative territory. We probably need to spread this out a little bit. This is still an important zone. You can see a bounce from this area because we've used it as resistance for so long. So pay attention if we create some kind of divergence. There might be a trade setup. Maybe we need to put out the IWM weekly expected move on Sunday to get, just in case there's a trade setup. We might do that over on Patreon this weekend. Bro, since I found out about options, I'm already down $1,000. Oh no. Well, you can either switch and not do options, do the slow way in the market, or try to learn more. It might just mean there's something wrong with your strategy or your times where you're buying or selling. Maybe you're trying to trade around earnings. Did you take JP Morgan calls? Did you take Wells Fargo calls? A lot of that stuff will affect how you trade, right? I'm not trading JP Morgan. I'm not trading earnings. I'm trading right now. My only trade is a long put, right? So right now I have a longer term put with a expiration out a few weeks. But like I said, Google not really seeing that weakness come in just yet. So this is what I'm playing as of right now, seeing that upward move. So really the only one that didn't come down was Google and Apple, and I'm in one of those, right? So this is the one I thought had some big weakness. But if it just does this, I can scale into the position a little more. I'm a little worried about this weekend. Yeah, and I really didn't even lose that much value in this. Only down 10%. So if this goes up towards that weekly expected move, that's where I might reapply just to scale into the position just a little bit there. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Jeremiah, positive divergence for the, oh shoot, X, oh gosh, can't see. XLF, XLE, what are we looking at? Intel's down 4%. Uh-oh. This thing's just been dropping lately. XLE. Yeah, the energy stuff, remember, energy is going to be very, very good still. That inflation we got this week, very bad still. So pay attention to that going forward. It's not looking very good. 10-minute SPY crossing for MACD, nah. And the SPY could hold up at this level, right? This is where we kind of expect it to hold up. So it shouldn't surprise us at all if we get a bounce from here. The Qs are at their daily expected move. SPY not quite getting there at this moment. But, Wells Fargo and JP Morgan not really giving the best news, so pay attention to that going forward. We got to keep checking in with JP Morgan just to make sure we're not losing the 50 or anything like that. If we look, we're losing the 50. So we broke through here. If we're not able to buy back up by end of day, I'd expect us to come down somewhere to 176.40 over the next couple weeks. So glad I took profit on Nvidia today or yesterday. Trade like water. Trade like water. That's what's up. Should we get embroidered robes for Robe Friday that say trade like water? Jesse the Bearwolf, thank you so much for subscribing. I am sorry you had to suffer through a loss, but remember to take it in stride. Figure out what you did wrong. Figure out the mistake and learn from it. It will really benefit you if you start not getting emotional after a loss. You can get angry after a loss. Just put that energy towards good use and be like, what did I do wrong? What are the things I did wrong? Take accountability for your trading and be like, I didn't do this. I traded around earnings. I did not wait for the confirmations. I didn't see things crossing up in positive territory. You know, all of those things. I didn't have 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade like we talk about in the course. Okay. You got to switch that, but I really appreciate your subscription. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the next one's going to be a good one for you, buddy. What about TLT as hedge for Iran Israel? Yeah, and that's actually a possibility. If you know, I'm a TLT investor. I have it down at 82.50. I still think this could rocket, but these auctions are going really, really poorly. No one wants these bonds, man. Interesting to see a pop today, but no one really wants these bonds. Silver looking great, man. Silver has like crazy stuff to the upside, right? Like crazy. This thing catching up at this point. The cool part about this, if you're a swing trader and you just looked at the inflation play, you get above the 200, right? You go positive in this area right here. Boom, you see that go positive. A little bit of room to go overbought. So boom, we go up from here. Maybe you hold a little bit. We see that beat down a little. Now we get that confirmation bar again for a second move. We cross on the MACD. Boom, that thing skyrockets. So eventually this will have to consolidate something. But right now, inflation plays on. And we knew that from the data. That's why we literally said it last night. Ooh, VIX up 13% now. We got to break through, though. We got to break through. The thing that I wanted to point out about the VIX was the weekly. Look at that, just going positive as of right now. So a little bit worrisome, right? A little bit worrisome. We're getting a reaction down to the moving averages, crossing back up. Maybe we get a reaction to the 200, see that fall off, get that dead cat bounce in this area. So that in the market, that is, not in the VIX. Bought Apple 1775 calls. Be very careful, you guys. Remember, this is where it helps to be a part of the Patreon. Just from a risk reward perspective here, you do not have much upside. You're outside of the daily expected move as of right now. This is a great day to have the daily expected move. You're outside of that. That means you have a higher percentage chance to do this than to do this. You have a higher percentage chance to do this than to do this. Not saying that has to happen, right? Craziness can continue. It's just for how my trading style is. I don't mess around with things. I know the percentage chance to come down is higher than going up from here. So I look for a different trade. What can we look for? Well, let's look for something that looks pretty positive. Maybe Amazon curling up on a 30-minute. This one not looking the best. That looks like it wants to come down. Was it Meta? Meta, if this thing can curl up on the 30-minute, well, you've built up some liquidity up in this area. Maybe that's the one you want to go with, you know, something like that to the upside. To say I want an Apple call as it hits the point where it's expected to go for today, actually higher than it at this point, you'd have to say the percentages are this comes down, just letting you know. Tesla sideways chop for now, but it's already picked which way it's going to go. So if this just flags out on like a 5-minute, you can see that drop off. Maybe a 5-minute divergence gives you a small bounce in this area. You do have a little bit of room to the downside here for that daily expected move. So be careful. You could just get a little ABC by end of day. And SMCI, one that we haven't brought up just yet, 3.5% down. Remember, this level here is what I marked off as important, 903.11. We're trying to hold above that as of right now. That's a very key support, I would say. Like, we went back through this in a couple videos ago, and we just showed the the support in this area. So there's a little zone down here that could be a support area. And that's why we're seeing the bounce down here. But if we start to lose this, go negative. If this goes negative, you have that very high probability for this to drop off. I don't have daily expected moves for this one. I don't have weekly expected moves for this one, though. So little hard to give you guys the actual probabilities there. This one here, now you have the potential if you can base out from down here for AMD to turn around. So right now, I think the big thing we need to pay attention to is, are we going to break through this daily expected move for the Qs? Are we going to break through for the SPY? If that starts to happen, we close below this level, you're going to be losing the momentum. Well, you're going to be losing the moving averages again on the daily scale, right? So if we're not able to buy back up by end of day, you got a bunch of different weird closings below. It's like, and this is kind of like what we're talking about with Meta, with Amazon. People are selling in this, but people are buying. Who's selling? Who's buying? Insiders are selling. Retailers are buying. So watch out below, because retailers are getting stacked in even as of today with bad news. 30-minute about to cross and go negative. Be very careful with the SPY here, guys. This could be literally the moment we see volatility just skyrocket, which it already is. It's up 13% as of right now. And literally, JR brings up volatility. Data is out, not so good. Uh-oh, let's see. Michigan consumer sentiment, 77.9, 79.4. That is way lower. Usually you do see that reaction down from something like that. So that is not so good. Actually, let me fix this. I got to fix my my layout here. All right, so that is not so good, and now Apple might start to struggle because some data comes out. That's why you got to be careful. You're outside of the range while data comes out. Sure, if that data is good, now you can skyrocket, but remember the probabilities. We're saying, hey, 68% chance to come down. So even if this info was good that we got just now, Apple still could have consolidated down and just wrecked you, right? Especially if you're doing 0 DTE. Inflation expectation. Oh, yeah. What the heck am I doing? I got to read all the data. Michigan 5-year inflation expectation, 3%. That is higher than 2.8. That is very, very bad. Let's look at the yields. Still reacting down to this level, so we'll have to see if anything comes from that. This feels like, I mean, that's a higher inflation expectation, so that's fishy. Actually very fishy. And inflation expectations here, April, just inflation expectations, 3.1 over 2.9 and 2.8. And then we have Fed speakers at the end of the day. Remember on Monday, we do get retail sales. That's come in strong multiple times. Remember, the market can see that as good news, but you know if that retail sales is a strong number, the inflation play is still there. So every piece of data now can just cause gold, it can cause gold and oil to just keep going up if we keep showing strength. And guess what? JP Morgan was one of the guys that said, hey, this economy is really, really strong still. And we have inflation that is continuing to stay sticky. So they're telling you, hey, yeah, the economy is strong, and people in the market go, strong economy, yay. That's not how it works, actually. The economy is strong, and that's why we have such a bad inflation problem. So any kind of strength you see just adds to that inflation problem. Apple converting all computer line to AI. Yeah. Their chips have had AI in them for a while, guys. So the whole like, oh, Apple putting AI in their chips, it's been around. It's kind of like a not necessarily fake. It's just like telling someone a good thing so you hold my stock up kind of deal. And I'm not mad about it, Apple. I made money off this move. I'm not mad about it. And I know exactly where that selling pressure was going to come in. Well, it was going to come in this zone. So what do? I sell before I even get to that zone. I sell right here. Literally right here is where I sell. I make 170%, whatever. And I'm out. My toilet paper has AI. Oh, that'd be crazy. A bidet with AI. It studies your beehole and knows exactly how to clean you. Actually, the economy is weak. Debt level is stupid. The economy is not weak. The economy is not weak. The economy is strong. But you are correct, Red Green, in saying the economy is weak. That's the right style of thinking as a trader. Where the economy is very, very strong, positive GDP. The problem is how much credit do we have to go into to get those positive reports? Way more credit than the GDP growth, right? It's 300 billion versus 800 billion. So I understand your thinking, but just know the economy is still strong. We're still getting strong data, and that's the problem here. And now it's fake strong, right? These jobs that have been created, are not good, sustainable jobs. They're government jobs, which just means more tax dollars, which means more debt, which means more problems. Is silver just is it just going still? Maybe the only thing to make us bullish for short time sideways on SPY over 500 till sell in May and war on debt, I'm assuming. Dennis, one thing I would say about that is if they're going to keep this going because it's an election year, we could move sideways for a while, get that wonky price action. That's kind of why I'm leaning towards bear market. I think we might see that craziness down, and then we'll see some kind of jump up, but will that just create some kind of lower high, and then we start to crash down again after the elections? That's what I would see coming. Literally the only thing that Biden has said lately that they've done well, I think, and this well, right, is they keep talking about the stock market at all-time highs. They keep talking about the stock market at all-time highs, and that's why I think like it might not even go down. We might see this craziness continue. A day with the Turdminator AI tricknology. That'll be a banger when the TP shortage comes. I'm telling you. Oh my gosh, guys. I don't know if you guys watch Cody Co, but his video yesterday was so funny. 70% just buybacks to boost EPS on earnings on Max. Oh, I'm not against you on that by any means. I'm not against that by any means. We just knew this. Remember this. We were looking at a 2-hour, and we just said, look how bottled up Apple is. If it gets any kind of positive news, this thing's going to explode. And we said that literally right there. We were like, this thing's going to explode. Boom, it explodes. Where's it going to go to? We said this zone. I even said, hey, we might even create some kind of thing up here with this high. Now you're literally testing that high, seeing it drop off. And now you're seeing the power of following the probabilities, right? Apple really starting to drop off from that level as of right now. With this bar already almost down 1% on a 30-minute bar. SPY is at the lower range. It's at it right now. So this is where the flush can happen, guys. On the daily scale, you don't want to lose this line. I'm just telling you right now, because if you start to lose this low and this line and you go negative, like this looks awful. That level is stupid. A lot of people tell me I'm going to die with debt. I don't have to pay it when I'm dead. Surprising, a lot of people have that mindset. And debt, because we're in a debt-based system, debt is kind of your friend, actually. Like, you don't want to treat debt as a bad thing. It's actually kind of your friend if you want to, like, you know, grow and be rich. Just debt right now is really expensive. You don't want to do debt right now. That would be psycho talk. You don't want to do debt right now. But like me, myself, like when I get a house, you bet your ass I'll be borrowing against that thing every single time. But we just moved, guys. I gotta find a house, and I'm waiting for a buyer's market. I ain't waiting for these. You know, there's the funny part is even the housing market. You're seeing an influx of about, like here at least, you're seeing an influx of about 10% per month or something. So it is going like this. The selling is getting higher. This 30-minute cross about to be crazy. I'm telling you right now, they do not want this to happen. Like middle of the country, like Kansas. Kansas doesn't fluctuate as much either. It's pretty mellow. Like, there's still very good priced homes. It's just there's not a lot of homes for sale. Therefore, you still have to overpay for everything. So in Kansas, it's actually really nice. If anyone wants to move here, it's very great. You can get homes here for $100 a square foot. You can get homes where I'm at for $100 a square foot. The problem is there's 5 other people that are going to be bidding for that home, so you end up paying $120. Oh, I want to buy a farm. Trust me, I want to get a farm. for the just in case scenarios. If you guys didn't know, I'm a just in case kind of guy. That's why I have stop losses. That's why I'm risk managed. I'm a just in case kind of guy. So just in case something really bad happens and the election doesn't go the way that, you know, the rich people want, and someone who they don't like, who happens to be called the Orange Man, gets in, that's when I'll be like, uh-oh, we could literally go through like a civil war or something like that. So I'm you know, the way people's emotions are now is very, very scary. But my buddy's got a farm. We actually have a contingency plan. Picked up a QQQ put. Remember, guys, I know it looks juicy. We're closing outside of this, but if you're doing 0 DTE, be careful. You have a higher percentage chance to do this than you do to do this. Now, if this happens, it's going to be a good play for you. This crosses, you might be a little more confident, but you're in positive territory. The momentum here is positive. You haven't crossed on the MACD. The percentage for you to end here is higher. Not saying that has to happen. I'm actually thinking this thing does crash down, but I'm not going to play against those percentages, and I'm not doing 0 DTE. I'm going with a trade that gives me a month to watch it play out, right? Give me a month. Give me a whole month, and then we'll see. Well, if Google is just down to, because it's so cheap, it was so cheap yesterday. If Google's just down to here in like the next week, 2 weeks, Google just comes down to here in the next 2 weeks, I'll be good. I'll literally be making money. Actually, I'm already making money right now because my position is so good. I just took some off. I'm leaving some runners. 30% is good. And maybe that's the way you play it. If you made money on the downturn, you want to hold those puts or something, see if something crazy happens, play with house money. Oh, God, Willow. Oh, my gosh, Willow. Don't even talk about this DJT. Why does DJT, it just DJ Donald Trump? That actually sounds kind of good. Anyway, Trump media here still falling down. Remember what we were talking about? If you start to lose these levels, well, we can probably head towards the next liquidity zone, 1725, unless we get some gains, get some buyers back in at the 200. I would really say this 18 to 17 level looking pretty good. 18 to 16. If I spread this out, we'll see. Yeah, so your first little zone in here would be something like this, right? You'd mark the high. You'd say this little area right in here looks pretty important. So that's where I'd look for maybe a bounce on the daily scale or off the 200. Look at this. You have a lot of room on this Bollinger Band. The Bollinger Band telling you, hey, there's still room to the downside here. You're riding that 5 down. Now, you could, at any time, get little reactions up to that 5, but then that selling can continue, so be careful with that. AMD, this one's at the bottom of its Bollinger, so this is one we can more look for something, right? If this is able to base out, you'd have triple divergence on a 30-minute. I know it's crazy to think about, but remember, this market does not behave correctly. It doesn't behave how it actually should. Retail people will still buy, insiders will sell to them, and divergences could lead to pops in the market depending on how people read the data. UVXY is printing. Do your feelings for a stock ever stop you from going long on something? Yes. Look at this. Remember my TLT play. Look at this starting to work out. Do you think I'm bummed out about this a little bit? Yes. But I got stopped out. And I said, screw this. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be insane and try to trade the same thing that keeps going down. I'm not going to do it. What did I do? Well, I'd say I ended up with the better play. Lose 12%, make 175, 150%, somewhere in there. Yeah, I think we're good. Can you see, well, are you talking about the ticker? Are you talking about like SLV? What are you talking about? Because SLV is still down at 27. We can look at like a weekly or something like that going extremely positive. If the inflation is still in play, I mean, you're about to break through these highs up here. You could see a move back up to, you know, some big points up here, some big points in liquidity, but you're breaking through some key resistance right here at this level, 26.21. Very key resistance here you're breaking through. I would look for you to head towards, maybe that resistance comes back in at 30.38, and then I would look for these highs, right? I'd look at these highs at 34, look at 36, look at 42.50. All those areas look pretty good. You're above the 200, spreading out the Bollinger Bands. Looks like silver's about to go nuts. Oh, physical gold. Yeah, you're solid if you're buying physical gold. I'm pretty sure the return on physical silver is very good compared to gold right now, which is funny because gold, I believe, holds more intrinsic value, right? It's a conductor and all that good stuff, so that's interesting. But maybe silver's just been undervalued for so long that it's going to be big. Maybe the inflation's just bad enough that silver's worth $100. We'll have to see. But silver looking pretty good, especially if you're holding the physical. You said that 49 was lost. It was going to be a rough ride for DJT. You nailed that. Any put out a month would have paid pretty good. Yes, the problem is with that one, I'm not going to take that trade or anything in the moment because I don't have the best technicals. I just know the support levels and things like that. So with my trading strategy, I need more reasons than like 2 to take a trade. Most of the time, guys, I'm creating 5 reasons to take a trade. Most of the time I'm doing 5. If you can come up with 5, you're going to be a good trader. And not come up with, read what's in front of you, right? So Apple here, 30-minute divergence, 2-hour stuff going on here, 2-hour, right? Divergences all across, very close to positive territory. There's 2 right there. Now, let's see, are we in a support level, things like that? This is all stuff we go over in the course, which in about 40 minutes, we're going to give out a coupon for the weekend. The first 25 people get 25% off. Save yourself $50. Are we at a support level? Yes, we are. Look where the big breakout for this move happened. It was right here, right where we're at as of this moment. So all of those 3 things, that's just 3. And I immediately have a reason to take that trade. Now I can look at daily ranges, weekly ranges. I can do all that stuff and just make sure I have multiple reasons to take a trade. Thoughts on JP Morgan short term? Bad. If it loses this 50, bad. And as of right now, we have to see it's trying to buy back up, but I just want to point out this is not good. That is very, very bad. So you're pretty much losing a point of support. So this right here, if we can lose 186, maybe just go with the closing bars here. Actually, what's the bottom of this one? This is the one I want to pay attention to. 186.36, 188.55, open 186.36. So 186.36, if we close below that level, closing below the 50 at the same time, you're probably heading down to this area of 176.50. I like doing 3 contracts near money. I used to do 50 contracts near money, and when trades go against my trade, it used to make big swings. Paracosm went the same way on Ape now. Thank you, Lucas, for Apple. Hope it falls to 123.75. I'll make bank. And that's possible. Just remember this, guys, about Apple at this point, 30-minute. It's pretty in positive territory. So if we see a significant drop-off, it's still a time to take profit a little bit early. 127. But you want Apple to go to 123? Renting, spin one master, getting that inflation play going. Exxon, we're going to look at that too. And that's just the oil play, one of the ones you could have done, right? It's just the inflation play, boom, popping up. So this is a good one to look at, actually, because if this 2-hour can curl up, you're going to see continued positivity. Now, we're kind of burnt to a crisp, right? Kind of burnt to a crisp, so maybe you would have liked to see I would have liked to see this get closer to the center line, see more of a pull back into here and then curl up. That would have been better, because then you have more room to go up to this high, get a better entry point, look for 30-minute divergences, all that good stuff. And yeah, this play right here is one of the ones. Oh my gosh, the volatility is just who didn't tell me about volatility? What the frick is this? You guys, we're doing it. We're doing it. What the? Oh, that is not good, man. Oh shit. If we end on a weekly buy signal here, I know I don't really pay attention to my my indicator buy signal, but sometimes it makes me feel good and feel pretty. Divergence able to go into positive territory on the weekly scale down here. Oh god, let me clean this up, by the way. That is bad. Oh god, that is so bad. Look at you spreading out those Bollingers. This is like, holy shit, this could be it. This actually is the recipe for disaster. Now you'd have to say this. The next bounce we get, if we start to lose some moving averages, we lose these daily expected moves, we start to head down next week, any bounce we get is most likely dead cat. Because what might happen here is, you notice how we get rejection from the 200 on the weekly scale? We might see this, and then go retest for a couple of weeks, and then that 50 is going to get even higher. We're going to use it as support on the weekly scale and see that jump back up. And then at that point, you're going to get this daily MACD, or the daily 50 to cross the daily 200. And then this will be the moment. And guess what? If we go up towards 20, well, guess what? This is where that 200 is. We taper back off. Where would that 50 be? Oh, crap. Now, we don't, remember this. I just got excited. Let's control my emotions for a second here. Let's control them for a second and just look at what's happening with stocks, okay, around this level. Now, I mean, this is garbage now. But you do have like a divergence forming right now on the VIX on the 2 hour. So we want to see what's going on with the actual market here. SPY. All right, the SPY curling back down on the 2 hour. Did it cross on this 30-minute? That's going to be the telling moment, I think. Remember, guys, volatility has that chance when it's up by 10%, 85% chance for a green day in the SPY for the next 2 trading sessions if that VIX prints right there. But in a crash scenario, the VIX kind of ignores that sometimes, and it might just explode. Yeah, the fundamental side is not treating it. And I mean, unless they do what they did last time, which is can get all these Fed speakers to come out and just talk good, say inflation's a good thing. But now they can't use that narrative again, because inflation is bad again. They're going to be like, oh, but PPI is important. But last time it was like PPI was horrible, CPI was, bad. And now it's like, and they're going to be like, oh, inflation, CPI, it's not that big. Or PPIs, you don't want to pay attention to PPI. CPI is more important, and that's pretty even. It's not that much of a tick up. Now CPI's up, PPI's down a little bit, consumer sentiment down, all that good stuff. But now they're going to say, oh, CPI is not that important. PPI is a little bit more what we gauge, right? They might do that. That would be crazy. War press drop. VIX will drop to 1550 today. You really think so? Let's check it out. I mean, I'm not saying that's not possible by any means. There's nothing really here telling me that. I mean, 5-minute divergence. Sometimes these actually do cause some drops, but you think it's going to 1550? That's a really big drop for one day. I don't know if I believe that. But I won't say it's not possible. The market can do what the market wants to do. Well, actually, no, it can't, because we have to pay attention to data. But the market can do things, and then we react to them. There we go. You can't buy what the Fed says. Commodities and the bond market doesn't care about the AI and the Fed. Exactly. And we've been saying on this channel for a few days now, since we've seen that TLT dropping off dramatically. No one wants the bonds. Those yields are going higher. Maybe the bond market is actually doing the jobs, the Fed's job for them, fighting inflation. That's what's going on. You want to talk about a movie scene right now is over the last few days, bond market's been fighting inflation. And whether you like it or not, this could just be freaking, some kind of Fed pump, some kind of Janet Yellen pump. AMD finally doing that bounce. Remember, guys, the market doesn't have to go down in one swoop. It is a moment to be a little excited, but triple divergence for AMD. What if that moves up? Be careful taking these, guys. If you guys noticed on Patreon, I'm trying not to post a ton of trade setups this week until we see which direction we're really going to go, right? We posted the TLT one. That one didn't work out, but we were able to find the Apple one live. That was a very, very good one. We've shown off Google a little bit lately because this thing looks like the momentum is really dead up here. So I'd pay attention to this. But the reason we're not doing that is because the market can still go higher. So you're seeing multiple things go on. So you just want to be very diligent with your risk management. I'm going to start to post more trades and post those trading videos with those trade setups. So I talk about them with you on Patreon. That's what we do over there down in the description. But I'm going to talk about more trade setups once we see that direction. Because right now you're moving sideways. Look at this. We're moving sideways. So until we get a direction, I don't want to give a certain trade setup. Let's do more noon shows. We can do more afternoon shows. When do we know? Well, really right now you're stuck kind of in a range, right? We're moving sideways. So I'd say your range, probably down, just take the lowest low at this point. So your range, you're pretty much just doing this. Look, We're in a range. So you got to break to one side to really get that direction. That's why I'm saying the 30-minute crossing on the Qs is actually a big, big deal because then you start to move towards the bottom side range. That would be very, very bad. One thing to point out here, remember the yellow lines? They are the monthly expected moves for April. So if we see some kind of sudden move down like this and we hold up, this is all the options market expected. If we're going to see that crash happen, which volatility's up. How much is volatility up now? 18%. We can see this thing start to really escalate, really pile on if we get outside of this guy. How about Apple Live with you, Lucas, for 0.58 and sold this morning for $7.85? Let's go, Matthew. That's what I'm talking about. You held it longer than I did, my dude. Oh, man, dude. That's crazy. So that is nuts. Holy crap, Matthew. Congratulations. They expired today. They were so cheap. Exactly. Apple's been beat down. You look for the ones that are crazy, that are kind of like no one wants to buy it, and you buy it right before the pop. Such a good play. We first start moving sideways, then we start to have lower highs and lower lows until the dip buyers get exhausted. Then we start to move down faster. And I agree with that, and that's why overall we've been saying bear market is most likely the move here, right? So we can drop down to here, bounce back up, and I think this is what you're talking about. Like, look at this. If you're talking about this, high, lower, 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 even, maybe a little higher. So potential here to turn back around, actually. But if we make that lower low again, well, then we could start to maybe break through this range here. But maybe we want to hit the bottom side, create another lower high, and then see that ripped away. But we're going to find those bounces because we have liquidity on the shorter time frame. So bounce here, bounce here. We're going to get a bunch of bounces. So I think bear market is in because of the... I think bulls are addicted to being bullish right now. How about Google 155p for next week, 0.51. And yeah, it looks like Google at least needs to pull back a little bit, I would say. So if we have Google, right, if you're part of the risk ranges, right, Matthew, I think you're on there. And what we'd want to pay attention to there is the weekly expected. Because you're taking next week's, you'd want to pay attention to the downside weekly. Even if you go towards that, okay, that's where I take profit. Or at least take half off the table. That way you're playing with house money if you want to see something dramatic happen. But I like to play the probabilities and always look for the next trade. There's always trade setups. You can literally find at least 2 trades a week with how I look at things. Usually I get at least 2 solid trades a week, if not like 4. So I always know there will be another trade. I can make money off this and just be done and look for the next one. VIX 19 now. Like I said, this thing can ignore everything. Look at it. The second that we go positive on the weekly scale, what starts to happen? Craziness. So this is where once we get above 16, once we get above 20, hey, my strategy is going to work out for you. So if you want to learn about these indicators and get that strategy this weekend in 30 minutes, stick around for 30 more minutes. We're going to give out that coupon code. Remember, the first 25 people that get 25% off this weekend, $50 off, and you get to come back on Monday with a fresh perspective, right? Now we're spreading out these Bollinger Bands. This has chosen a direction. Now we do have that 85% chance for an update in the next 2 trading sessions. But when this goes ballistic, it goes ballistic sometimes. So be careful. If that is an actual crash, it will not go up with that 85% chance. 147.55 weekly move Google. We'll give you those weekly ranges for next week, but... yeah, this week's weekly range is a little bit. I'd be skeptical. We're going to go all the way down to 147 in one day, but that easily can flush next week, right? Because it's holding up higher. The insiders are going to start to sell this most likely coming forward, so we'll pay attention to that. But we don't want to try to guess or anything. We just want to play that weekly move, get out, and then the cool part about the weekly moves. Let me talk about this for a sec. Okay, so next week, if we see Google drop off dramatically, let's say that VIX is just popping off to the upside and we head to that weekly expected move very early on in the week, we can do this for like 3-4 days and then see a down move. So all we have to do in that downtrend is say, boom, hit the weekly expected move. If a bounce happens, just look for that to cross over again, take another play. Like it's literally going to be like that. And I think the second drop might be even worse. SPY, it looks like it might cross to the upside. Ooh, hourly might cross. Okay, you're saying to the downside here. Hourly might cross negative territory. Negative territory. Now, I would say this about the SPY here, a little bit less of a range, just a bunch of bumps in the road we're going to hit. So look out for any kind of bounces that could be some divergence for a big bounce, right? So pay attention to this. But this looks like a fake out of a new trend. So you're probably going to take out this low and head lower. That is a probably. But as of today, right, that is over time. We could do that. As of today, you still have that percentage chance to land pretty much right where we're at. But UVIX at open, good play today. Nice job. Yeah, if you were able to hop on volatility pretty early, I think like it started off the day only up 8%. It is an exciting time to be in the market as long as you know how it bounces back and forth. Exactly. That's why we still want to take profit. In a bear market, volatility is higher, so you're going to see bigger swings, which means big swing down, big swing up. So big swing down, sell my puts, watch the big swing up, see that curl back down, negative territory. Lucas, make an affiliate link. For what? I don't know what I was talking about 5 minutes ago, but for what? Apple lost appeal for App Store lawsuit, and Apple, like I said, this is where you got to be a little careful with it. 30-minute, we're above the weekly, we're above the daily. For the course, can I do that? Is an affiliate, wait. So, do I give you the affiliate link and then you get people to take the course and you get a kickback? Is that what it is? Pull my SKRE and bought UVIX at open. Good play today. If we close and hold under 513.09, market might close some gaps below. Okay, I'll look into it, Uniworld. Send me an email if you could. Where are you thinking oil is heading today? Well, the inflation play is on right now. The inflation play is still on. Oil most likely going to head higher, unless we get some data that proves otherwise. But this is a move I would not bet against right now. That thing is ripping, and the Fed is going to have to react to this at this point. Weekly going positive, spreading out the Bollinger Bands to the upside. You'd have to say, well, resistance maybe up here, right? We see these highs up here. We see this high up here. So I would say your resistance up ahead, probably right around that $93.50 or $93 zone. Is there a link to the course? Yep, it's down in the description. But Grant, wait a moment. If you want that course, I can save you $50 this weekend if you just wait 25 minutes and hang out with us for 25 more minutes. Referral bonus, yeah. We'll look into it. I'll see if it's possible. I'm sure it is. I've just never looked into it before. I didn't even think about that. Sold my SPY puts for 35%. Profit is profit. I feel for a rebound on Monday. All indexes might cool off. All the indices might cool off. I'm up 32% on Google puts. Patreon. Oh yeah, we did give the Google play. That's right. For a second there, I was like, what? Patreon did help. Thank you, Lil AR15 for the shout out there. What's the bottom of the SPY daily range? Well, the bottom of the SPY daily range, we're right at it still. We are right at it at this moment. We were able to cross down. Maybe we go negative here. So things are starting to escalate. Not looking pretty. I use the daily and weekly ranges. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. If we use the daily ranges and just played the middle of the range all week, you probably did pretty well. The course is pretty good, actually. I took it and could see a lot of things differently. Very recommended. Thank you so much, Gabo. I really appreciate that. And Gabo, it doesn't take long, does it? It's a very, very good and informative, precise, I would say. I tried to be very efficient with it. I don't want to waste your time with a bunch of different info. I don't want to joke around too much during. I took some courses before where the person was like joking around a lot. And Colbrin MX, thank you for joining. And yeah, I try to make it efficient and to the point and be like, learn this basic stuff. And it's actually the weird part about when I talk about the indicators, a lot of people don't teach that kind of stuff about you know, the center line and things, and how divergences are important. So I feel like that adds a lot more value than many of the other courses I've taken. VIX over 20%. Oh, 21. Oh my God. Where's UVXY? Oh my God. I love that this split. I love that this split yesterday. I love that it split yesterday. That's hilarious. I believe that too, Marina. It's still possible. We're just going to look out for divergences and things like that and look for our weeklies and stuff. The thing is, we're starting a new week next week, so I wouldn't pay too much attention. Like if we, you know, react down to here by end of day and you start to take calls or something like that, be very careful with that, because when you open up the next week, you're going to have a range that is now like this. And if you're here and that just keeps flushing and you try to, you know, take a call because it's outside the weekly, that's where you don't necessarily want to do that. Friday is where you don't really want to mess around with this too much. You just want to see it can use it as support for the day, but what if that just rolls back down? So if you see that selling come in, we could head lower. JP Morgan did come out. They actually printed okay numbers, but they, I believe they, oh shoot, what was it? God dang it. God, I literally read about it all morning. They pretty much said their interest expense is going up, which is bad. They're not able to make as much money off interest and things like that. Already up 50% on those Goog puts. Let's go, dude. Okay, curled over on the MACD. Curled over on the MACD. Now we're below the range. It's worrisome. Volatility is higher. This is totally different. Cocaine bear income. Good job, Spin One Master. Gosh, damn. What a day. What a day. What a day. What a day. Don't get too happy about the bear side. Remember, we're still going to play with the probabilities here. Able to come down. This hasn't even crossed on the MACD. This isn't even negative yet. We might be carving out a top and we might see Google flush. Good thing I took this for about a month out. So Google, I can hold you for a little bit. See if we see something crazy. So when it's below the daily like this, do we turn for a bottom idea now? So when you come outside of this range, this is where you can bottom out. This is where you have a 68% chance for a bounce. Not necessarily bottom out. This is where you have a 68% chance for a bounce to land in this zone. So what you really want to see is, even on a 5-minute going into next week, well, what if this just builds up into the center line, right? What if this just goes like this and then that crosses over next week? Well, then you'll see that continue. But maybe the market, since they're not expecting this, the market makers might want to do this, flag out. Something like this would make sense by end of day, because you'd land back in this zone. But if this just keeps flushing, if we keep losing support levels and all that good stuff, the 30 minutes telling you, hey, this thing's heading down. Not negative, it's just barely right on the center line, right? So we need that negative territory for that negative momentum to fully take over, in my opinion. All right, guys, 9:40. We got a few minutes until we give out that coupon code. I'm up 22% on. I didn't get a scale back in. I wanted to scale in one more time. Damn it. That's unlucky. Cleanup time. Let me clean that up. Alrighty, where do you think the S&P has support? Right where we're at right now. 512. I'd say these closing bars, 512.61, pretty much. So you're right at where support can jump back in. Hughes, they're not losing support at all yet. Still moving sideways overall, right? Still moving sideways. Apple, look at that thing drifting back down. Tesla, this one about to cross, go negative. Bad news there. Amazon finally crossing back down, seeing some selling. But we've seen that before. We've seen it over and over again. So just, you really hope that the, and I hope this, not as a making money for you guys perspective, I'm hoping retail traders are not going to buy Amazon back up. Not because I have a play on it, anything like that, but because that's more and more regular people like us getting trapped. And I don't like to see that. I really don't. Heat map? I don't pay attention to heat map at all. I think it looks pretty. It looks cool. You can pay attention to what sectors sold off more than the other and things like that. But overall, nope. I am sticking to my strategies, my man. Now, remember NVIDIA, this thing curling over on its MACD, this thing can still turn back up positive. We're a little bit higher up in positive territory, so be weary about this one. Now, if we experience a sudden drop, that's going to be a different story. AMD, right now you're flagging. This is not what you want to see as far as these bars go to base out. 57%. Nice job. More goth, please. More goth. My wife used to be goth in high school, by the way. And a bully. Did you guys know in high school, I was bullied. I was cross-eyed. I had glasses. I was very short. When I got to high school, I was 4'11". And funny enough, people like my wife used to make fun of me. So, yeah, she's a bully. Need a picture? We'll get you a picture sometime. I'll show you guys. I played varsity soccer when I was a freshman and I was 4'11" for a, what's it called? Not D5, whatever it is. We were that size school, something 5. I know it goes up to 6 or something like that, but yeah, there's literally a picture of me at the state championship, and the row of players goes like this, and then keeps going because that's me. I'll have to find that picture. I think it's at my mom's house. Maybe I'll pop over there sometime today. Remember to watch out for Microsoft. This is a big sell signal, right? Remember, not in the 30-minute, not saying that, but if it goes negative, breaks through here, that'd be bad. But I'm saying on the daily scale, Microsoft is one that's saying, I'm done, man. I'm done. Sub me out. I'm done. That's what Microsoft's overall saying. Google starting to get that topping out bar. Still above the 5, though, so we can react to the 20. That's where I'll be thinking about, hey, maybe taking profit for some kind of bounce, some kind of flagging to head lower, right? I can play this down now. If I'm tactical, I can make more money than if I just hold it until it's down like this, because it could just do this and bounce around, which will make this position a little weaker. So I want to do this, see a flag, not play that bounce because it's in negative territory, and I know that the trend might be shifting, and then get reposition again right in here. That's how I would do things. Look at SMCI. See if this thing on the 30-minute is able to curl back down, and then we're going to go peek over at JP Morgan and see if there's anything crazy happening. Remember, SMCI about to go negative here. It is going negative as of right now. We can set up a divergence, but this looks like a pretty good ABC, right? ABC play here. So let's not take that wick. Let's do it from here. All right, so if SMCI makes an even amount move, right, we'd be somewhere around 793. I'd say a whole number like 800 might be better to pay attention to for SMCI. Let's go look at the craziness. Let's see if JP Morgan's catching a bid. Nope. Nope. Nope, it is not. It is not catching a bid. This is what we talked about with the banking crisis is coming up. But yeah, now that you've lost that, you're probably looking for 176 here. That is, you guys, that is awful. Oh my God, VIX at 24. This is psycho, guys. This is why. Oh my God, I'm so glad I made that coupon code before. I had a feeling that volatility was going to go nuts after I saw that report. I was just like, oh no, or after I saw JP Morgan earnings. That's why I woke up early to read some of that. And I was like, oh my God, volatility can go nuts. Let me make a coupon code. So we're going to give that out in 15 minutes. Oh, Rivian. Yeah, we can look at Rivian. I actually like the look of Rivian's stuff. Not the stock, the cars and stuff. Daily side rolling over. You got tight again. This thing's going down again. Remember that car companies, they're one of the biggest businesses to fail, right behind restaurants. You're below the 200. You're going to you're crossing over on the MACD. The only saving grace would be some kind of divergence, but you're in negative territory. You're below the 200. There was a play to be had here, I think. Maybe you would have saw something here, that crossover, bounce back. No real plays to be made here. Rivian not looking pretty. Now you are close to the center line on the 2-hour. You could get that trend to reverse, but this thing is weak, man. Be very careful. And I'd suggest being careful with any car company just because they fail a lot. It's like 90% of car companies fail in history, so Oh my God, that is ugly. That is gross. From now on, no good news. Did 5 DJT 30 puts at 0.3, spent 150. 30 puts. Maybe selling puts on Rivian might be okay. It might. It might if that thing just trickles up or holds. Good point. But here was our hint. This was our hint, guys. Remember, HYG just saying, "Hey, I am sick, very sick right now. Not thick. Thick would be a good thing, but sick." Volatility up 23. UVXY starting to slow down a little bit at 16% there. Dollar going bonkers. You know, it could be people piling in a little too heavy on the put side as the SPY's not seeing a really dramatic drop off. We're seeing the volatility just scream. But I wouldn't fight against it, right? You're breaking through. I would just be, if I don't have any plays going on here, I'd be looking for something to get into for some downside if that looks juicy. And, you know, some of these holding up better. I mean, still potential to even get in the Google play. That's just now crossing over on a 30-minute. You are down towards that daily expected move, I believe. Yeah, Google 158, 158, 159 right in there. So you could come a little bit lower, but that's all we expect for the day. What's made a big move? NVIDIA. Remember NVIDIA here? Touching that daily expected move. It's actually outside of the daily expected move now. So either this escalates, volatility's high. I think you have a good shot at this escalating, but 68% chance to land a little bit higher. But this is a nuts environment. I probably shouldn't even say that at this point because, my goodness, this looks very bad. If we start to lose this support today, we can keep flushing, and that most likely actually, I think, unless they, you know, put the, what's it called? The plunge protection crew, unless they bring out the plunge protection crew later on today with the Fed speakers, and maybe even they suddenly talk over the weekend or something like that. DLT is still moving up. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. You ain't gonna fake me out. You ain't gonna fake me out. EVIX, that volatility. Damn, we should have paid attention to this too. Look at that. Volatility of the volatility. Taking some good upward moves there. VXN, good upward move for volatility. Volatility of the small caps there. Good volatility coming in. HYD still remaining lower. One thing I was noticing too, I wanted to bring up the housing sector for a moment. I'm going to look at my nail. I like nail. Housing sector holding up exactly where it has to right now. Be careful if this flushes. You want to talk about buying a house. Well, if this thing goes negative and we start to see the housing sector drop off dramatically and those rates still remain high, ooh, it's not going to be a good recipe, I'll tell you that. What are you guys saying? I'm typing on Apple iPhone and looking at my computer. That's Apple as well. Apple forever. Apple is trash, in my opinion, now. I finally switched to, and I'm not saying as a company, I'm saying for me using my cell phone. That's what I'm talking about. Once I switched to a Google phone because my cell company that I've been with for 17 years didn't want to work with me, and I left my phone on my car, putting Ari in her car seat, and I just drove and it fell in the street and got ran over like 5 times. So I had to get a new phone, and I was like, look, I've been here for 17 years. Give me a free phone. And then they were like, no. And so I looked at Mint Mobile and I was like, oh, Mint Mobile will give me a new Google Pixel, brand new, 2023, right? So 2023 Google Pixel, and they'll only charge me $180 for the entire year. So I paid $500 for all of my cell service and a new phone for the next year. And then I started to use this and I go, why have I never switched? This is way better. Apple 174 at least. Let me see. Someone said the SPY S&P support coming in. It needs to come in right now. It needs to. Oh no. This is that. Oh no. Oh God. That's. We're about to. We lost it on the closing. We'll pray to the gods if you're bullish that this wicks up. But I'm thinking we flush now. They have great MacBooks, though. Oh, I used to work at an Apple store. That's right. I used to work at an Apple store. I used to help old ladies figure out how to change their passwords every day. That's pretty much what I did on a daily basis. And then I sold Macs and things like that. See, the thing is, I like Macs. I just think they're too expensive. Like, my laptop that I'm using right here has GeForce RTX, has Core i7, has, like, crazy good stuff. 4th gen Aeroblade 3D technology. Let's see what else it's got. It's got available slots for 2 X SSD, and it has HDMI ports, got all that stuff, and it has gaming audio. I got all that for like $1,500. And if I wanted that anywhere close in a Mac, like, first of all, they can't do it. I've worked in the Mac store. They only use like 8 gigs of RAM. This has 32. But if you're using it for like little stuff, it's great. It's just me. I use my computer pretty hefty. 8 minutes until we drop that coupon code. Is anyone excited for the coupon code, guys? Look at this volatility screaming. China's economy is in a free fall, and they are the biggest Apple customers. Don't be too in love with the stock. And that's something you have to pay attention to. They've gotten so much. Tesla and Apple both have gotten such bad news from China. And China's not usually isn't even 100% honest with everything they tell us, right? They're kind of a crazy country at this point. I can't believe they just don't. Like, apparently their population statistics are totally like apparently fake. So you can only imagine how bad it really is. That's just what they're willing to tell us at that point. Get rid of that trend. Screw that trend. We don't need it. Apple should be negative for some reason, but for some reason fighting that 0.5% up. And that could be, you know, well, it's still selling off pretty good. That's only an hour of price action. That's pretty good. Yep, I am. Grant's excited. Good, Grant. I'm glad you mentioned it in the chat. I didn't want you to lose out. If you really want to take it, I want you guys, whoever really wants to take it, I want you to benefit and save it just at least a little bit of money. You know, use that money to take yourself to a coffee shop, buy a nice meal, and take the course at the coffee shop or something. You know what I'm saying? Typing in trade like water right now on the link. It's not that. That's not the coupon code just yet. Oh God, you guys, I almost made, what could I literally had that typed out. I had trade like water as the coupon code. Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. But it's not. It's not that. It's not gonna work. I made it shorter. Oh fuck, you guys are just gonna, everyone's gonna know this coupon code before I even release it. Trade like water. TLW. Damn, that sounds a lot better. But that's what I'm thinking about putting on a t-shirt. So here's my idea for a t-shirt. Tell me in the chat if it's good or bad. And let's switch over to the SPY. We got to pay attention to this while it happens. Look at that wick. All right. It's going to be tough, but you do have a 68% chance to do this right now. Be careful with that. All right. Now, talking about this. Confirmed. It did not work, guys. Oh, that's so funny. My idea for a t-shirt was to make waves that have like the MACD crossing with divergence, like here. Just really simple, like embroidered MACD crossing with like waves, like a little like water type drawing inside of it. So it looks like a MACD crossing that's in the form of like water and waves. I thought that'd be sick. And then underneath it just says trade like water, real nice small print there. Put it on a pullover. I thought that'd be sick. Am I confused? Trade water futures? Oh God, yeah. We don't trade water futures here, man. Paracosm, you're cracking me out, dude. VIX approaching 19. 20 is your holy crap, all bets are off, man. You're a man of style, Lucas. You guys know I've made sweatshirts before. I should show you guys my old sweatshirts. They were sick. I had one that was like Wine Wednesday. It was like a bottle of wine it was just me. It was me holding a glass of wine, like cartoonized. It was very cool. That'd be a good hat. We can make a hat. Printed or embroidery on a great logo. I think I want to do embroidery. And then my wife's an artist, so she I really have to show you guys some of her drawings. She's insane. She sold some paintings for like $250, $300 before. She's done work for big people in New York for like $600 to do like a painting, a pretty good size one. We'll look into it though. Now, staying on volatility here probably isn't the best thing to do. Let's see how the Dow's holding up very, very poorly. That's what I would say there. VIX, look at that. Or not VIX, SPY, the wick. The wick just below. You know what happened here? People had stops right here. Isn't that funny? People probably had a stop right here. We come just barely below that. The low here, 512.70. Oh no, 512.03. The low here, 512.09. So they just took out some stops. Now they're going to screw people over the rest of the day. So I'd be careful with that one. I'd buy a t-shirt with Trade Like Water. I like pullovers, guys. Like pullovers, hats, and we have 3 minutes until the course gets out there, till the coupon. So like the video to see that coupon code. Like. Someone said yesterday we only got 66 likes live, and I'm very disappointed. I'm a dad, and I'm disappointed in you. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are good. Quarter zip. I like just what's it called? Freaking think of it right now, but quarter zip actually might be kind of cool. Maybe we make like an athletic quarter zip. That'd be kind of cool. Crew neck. That's what I'm thinking of. Nice title. Thank you. Thank you, Georgie. I really appreciate that. Who likes the title? Come on. The title's pretty funny. The title's a little funny, guys. Come on. Come on. 69 now. Okay, actually, just kidding. Leave it at 69. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and we'll give out that coupon code. Remember, it's just first 25 people get it. If you really want it and you're a part of the Patreon, we can give it to you after. But next week, we're going to put out the Patreon code. So you always, if you're part of Patreon and you're thinking about taking it, maybe you want to save up money for a month or wait for the bear market to actually start before you take the course, I'm going to put out a coupon code specifically for Patreon that gives you the same deal we're giving today, 25% off. I was the 69th. I'm going for a walk on the beach. I live down by the beach, man. Half-baked movie quote. Here's the thing. Can I come over? I want to go to the beach. Oh, wait, I have a baby. I can't do that. All right, let's take a look around for just a quick second here. I don't want to get stagnant. We're seeing the SPY hold up. Let's see what stocks are doing. IWM needs to hold up here. Apple probably wants to stay in that zone, to be honest. Tesla, you need to reverse this around if we're going to see some kind of pump here. Amazon, I mean, I guess there's support here. I mean, Amazon's just so wonky. It's like every sell-off leads to buying, so be careful with that. That's what I would say about Amazon, but longer term, it doesn't look good. Ooh, that's a stiff bar there on NVIDIA below the daily expected move, so we can see some downward pressure here. AMD flagging out at this level, not looking good. If it flags out the rest of the day, you're probably going to see some kind of move lower come Monday, unless we get some good news. There is divergence down here, but I'd just be careful. Don't try to catch a falling knife. Meta, this guy's starting to come down pretty significantly here, so if this can break this low, you have a high, low, lower low, that'd be pretty good. Microsoft, ooh, we're breaking. You guys, Microsoft breaking. The one that looks like, hey, this is the guy telling you that we're going to see some kind of correction or crash. If we break through this level and how the VIX is moving, it's starting to look a lot like crash. But if we hold up from there, we still got a chance. Google holding up right there. Let's see where we're holding up. Is it by that daily expected move, 158 to 159? So we're able to hold up right above 159. So good look there. It is 10 o'clock. All right, guys. It's time to release the coupon code. I want you guys to guess again what the coupon code is. We had Trade Like Water. What else could that coupon code be? 25% off, save yourself $50. Learn about stocks, learn about indicators, get a bear market strategy. Volatility's crazy. Lucas25, do you think I'm that full of myself to put my own name? Hold on, I gotta change it. It was Lucas25. No, I'm just kidding. It's not Lucas25. Goth Wife. Okay, that sounds kind of sick. That sounds kind of sick. I'm about to make a t-shirt, just one t-shirt for her that says Goth Wife. It's curl up on the MACD, one full thing. It's positive territory. No, okay. All right, guys. The official coupon code is Water, all caps. That's it. That's it. It's just water, all caps. I mean, I don't know if caps really matters with the system, but yeah, I was like, trade like water. Oh, that's too complicated. Gatorade. I should have made it H2O. Damn it. Guys, I failed. All right, but that link is down in the description, okay? Down in the description, type in the coupon code. The coupon code is the word water, and it's in all caps. If it doesn't work in the lowercase setting, just put it in all caps. But hey, I'm excited for you guys. You guys are gonna get learning over the weekend. That's awesome. I love to see people taking steps forward, always trying to learn more and more. The volatility screaming at this point, looking like it's getting a wick right now. We'll have to see if we get some kind of bounce. Thing is with this, you do have that 5-minute divergence. We do have potential for a bounce here on the R side, but I'm not fighting against this by any means. We could just see it do this, get some people who are thinking, oh, this is going to go higher. We land within that weekly or that daily expected move, and then we have to see if that's ripped away. So I would pay attention for most of the day. I'd say 15-minute. See if the 15-minute can just do something like this. Now you are close to positive territory still, 15-minute. We can see something. Maybe we go fill this gap or something like that. Maybe this was an overreaction as we're holding up at support here. But if we do something like this, be careful if that rolls back down on Monday. Going to be very, very careful with that. What do I think about TLT? I think TLT, I think I actually think this might be another fake out. Still negative at this point. That inflation data is still bad. We have all the inflation plays skyrocketing to the upside. So be very careful with that. 10-year, we're coming into a level where we're going to test, right? Very important to test this level. See if that curls back up. We're going to go positive here. Maybe like a 2-hour looks pretty good, right? Curling down, see that curl back up. Guess what? We're going to get another rip higher in this 10-year, which will be bad for TLT. So TLT, even though you see this 2-hour looking like it wants to cross up, just be careful at this level as things start to go. And we do have the possibility for Iran and things like that. Now, if we do get some trouble geopolitically overseas, we could see that start to rip. So this can go the other way on you over the weekend if we see like an attack from Iran or something like that, and they need to pump money into the system, TLT, or people run to safety, so they run to TLT. And right now, no one wants to buy our bonds. So it'd be very ironic for people to then kind of force themselves to buy bonds to fly to safety when no one wants these bonds right now across the world. Remember right now, that code to get that course, as of right now, the first 25 people for 25% off, $50, save yourself $50. I think that volatility skyrocketing is a good reason to put that out there. So be very careful out there with your trades, but maybe you want to learn a little bit more over the weekend. First 25 people, 25% off. The code is water, just water, WATER, water. Silver might hit $30 today. Is that thing just ripping? So the inflation play is still on for now. Oof. Oh my goodness, that thing is just ripping. It's breaking through a lot of these levels too. We were expecting, yeah, some resistance. No, it's just going. So that is something to be worried about. Dollar just still holding higher. So any bounce you're seeing right now, just know we're at 106. Very, very bad. Oh, not SLV, just silver. Interesting 10-day chart, clusters TLT. Got it. Thanks. Grant, I appreciate you buying that, man. Let me know. I'll say multiple times in the course if you have any questions around that. Join the Patreon or something like that if you want to message me, but I give my email to you as well. Do you see these seasonally adjusted PPI? So it might be the market not believing the PPI report from yesterday. If you could send me a link to that, or maybe I could look it up. But just know all these numbers get adjusted a month or two later, and they're always like worse, by the way. Just so you know, they're usually worse. All the jobs data, they're like, we created 300,000 jobs. The economy's strong. And then it's like 120,000 the next month, and they just kind of don't talk about it. How long? Well, actually, technically, QQQ, the probabilities say QQQ should bounce from here. Probabilities say that QQQ should, maybe not exactly from this level, but you do have a 68% chance to land right here. So just be careful. We could see some kind of bounce at this level. Like, if you were going short on this, you'd want more a, like, reaction up to this level, see some 5-minute divergence if you're doing like daily or something, and then see that go back towards the middle of the range, and that's what you would do. But you want that to happen early on in the morning. I don't day trade or anything. It's just maybe once you guys take the course, I can convince you a little bit, like take 2 week out plays and things like that to buy yourself more time, and then build that money the slow way. So you can double your money every time with that strategy. If you're just diligent, you play a move up and you don't say, hey, I'm trying to make $1 million. You just say, hey, I made $500. I'm out. Is there anything important next week news-wise? Literally, first thing on Monday, we get retail sales month over month and a Fed speaker kind of towards midnight, so nothing really there. But we have bond auctions, building permits, more auctions. A bunch of oil stuff comes out next Wednesday, so pay attention to that for oil. Initial jobless claims on Thursday. And other than that, not a lot. Now, a point to pay attention would be durable goods, Wednesday, April 24th, but I'd really pay attention to... God, I keep hiccuping. Thursday, April 25th, GDP. GDP growth rate. If we're at a point where inflation is still the play and GDP comes in big again, that 10-year might just go bonkers. Trying not to cuss, but it really could. All the data today not looking that good. Yesterday's move was fake news. Tim Jones. Yesterday's news was fake news. Yeah, you got it. You got to believe that. PPI, I even said that, I think, in my video. I was just like, there's no way PPI was 0.2. You swore yesterday. I heard it. I'm sorry. I refreshed. It's good now. Lurk and Luke. I'm sorry. I bought and says bad gateway after I submitted. Did you make sure you get that, Luke? I want to make sure you're getting it. Anyone who has trouble with it, please let me know. Sometimes when I get a big influx of people in there, it kind of starts to mess up. But thank you so much for purchasing that this morning. Awesome. I look forward to any kind of questions that you may have. And Edwin, thank you so much for joining the Patreon. Appreciate all you guys out there. Everyone's helping. Everyone's trying to learn. Everyone's getting better at trading over the weekend. And as we see volatility go up, I think that's really going to benefit you. Painfully held the SQQQ. Painfully held it yesterday. Yeah, it was probably tough. That's a big move. Just know Apple is pretty much all of that move at that point. Apple and Nvidia going higher. Now Apple's starting to break out of this zone. Remember, this zone here, very, very important. Because what do we see in this zone? Sell. Now, this did build back up, so pay attention at this area because we are very, very positive. I want to point that out. What happened the last time? We were pretty positive, and then we came back down towards, well, a little bit towards the center line. We curled back up, and we made another upward move. So I'm just saying, we could do this. We get data next week, and then we do something like this, and then we do that. This would be great. I will love if that setup comes. But for now, I just got my Google Play going on, and Google coming down 1.13% as of right now. Came down a little lower, a little wick on that. Well, I want to see what that position looks like. Looking pretty good. Up 37% now. That's very, very good. And we're going to be telling you about that that course. That coupon code is going to be good until Sunday. But I would really snatch it up today. I only have 25 of them out there. Gold and silver at levels making me think World War III is about to pop off or the market is going to crash. And you could see both at the same time. And that's the funny part about TLT. I just think there's better setups than TLT right now. So that's why I'm not talking about it a bunch, right? It's kind of going just to react to geopolitical data and things like that. The technical side not really doing that well, I would say. So TLT, I'm just going to shy away from that. I think holding a put on Google for like a month is my play. I had to hit my work. Tiffany, the code is WATER. W-A-T-E-R, WATER. And if it doesn't work in lowercase, I put it in all caps. Got about 60K on TLT at 91.80. That's what's up. Once I go through it, will I be able to go back through and watch it again? Yes. It is a course that once you buy it, it's a one-time payment and it is all yours. If we add to it, say we add I don't know, something about swing trading to the downside as a different strategy, maybe we do that for you. Maybe we just talk about Bollinger Bands a little bit more, give a little thing on that. You know, all that stuff. Anytime we add to it, it's going to be there. Just note that I still have plans to add to it, and I keep saying this every week, but I'm just so busy, guys, that the course is good where it's at. And once this baby girl can grow up a little, I'll add to it, and I'll let you guys know. In the money or out of the money for options? Out the money. Out the money. And we go over how to buy all that stuff, and we just use Robinhood to show it to you guys. And we even give you how to make your own weekly ranges for any stock using Robinhood. Now, it's not the exact calculation like I do for mine, but it's a very easy method. Like I said, I spent a whole weekend building this Excel sheet, this or Google spreadsheet that calculates it. So all I have to do is update the numbers now. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because it was taking me like an hour every single time to do all the risk ranges, and it's like so boring to sit there and do math for a whole hour straight. So now it takes me like a little bit of time. Do you have a Discord? We're going to work on a Discord once I can grow a little bit and possibly get my wife to have some free time so she can kind of mod it for me. We'll be putting that out there. But for now, not TradingView. I'm sorry. It's Patreon is where we put some trade setups. One of them being Google, and Google kind of printing right now. How do you set it up? We go over that in the course as well. So we show you how to set up your indicators. It's pretty simple. We show you how to set it up. And this one here, I've had it forever. I actually think I got this from like Johnny Bravo like 4 or 5 years ago. I just do SMA 950 and 200, EMA 20. And then the buy sell you can turn off and on. I wouldn't pay attention too much to the buy sell part. A lot of the time that's lagging. Okay, so it's lagging. Just wanted to point that out. Maybe we can show where it lagged a little bit on this like 2 hour or something like that. See a point where it lags. It likes to lag a lot of the time. That's the problem. So like right here, a little bit of lag. Sometimes you'll see it tell you to buy at the highs and things like that. So I would just really pay attention to the section that talks about, 5 reasons to take a trade. One of the ones is Amazon. I'll show you guys this one. Do you really think this is a great buy signal? Like, look at this thing. Do you really think that's a great buy signal? No, it's not. It's not. So just be careful using those. But sometimes it's fun. Makes you feel good. Like with volatility, it's making us feel good, right? Buy signal here goes up. Look at the weekly. This is fun. Buy! Like, yeah, that's all it is. But how you more want to see it is not, oh, I got this buy signal, so I take volatility if it's going up. No, you want to have the reasons why it's going up, and that's what we talk about. We have this. We have this. Boom, right here. We're down towards 1212. Okay, we're taking back some moving averages. We're going positive. That's what you more want to pay attention to. If MACD is curling down on a 2 hour and curling up on a 4 hour, what does that indicate? Depends on what the 2 hour and 4 hour look like. So if there's divergence behind the 4 hour, maybe be a little cautious. But I'd say the 2 hour. So, and we maybe volatility gave us one of these moments. Let's see. I wish I could find one, but pretty much it's the 2 hour momentum is shorter term. The 4 hour one's longer. So if I saw a 4 hour about to go, I like the daily more. I'm going to give it in the perspective of a daily. Okay. So if I see a 2 hour curling down in negative territory, but I see a daily like divergence or something like that forming, that's the best way to describe this. Apple's going to be good because I know there's some down here. So let's do this daily versus a 2 hour. So right here, we saw the daily curling up, right? We probably saw it curling up actually right here for a moment. Looked like it was maybe going to cross and go positive. What happens around that area? What's the date here? Tuesday, October 24th. Okay, Tuesday, October 24th is what we're going to pay attention to. Pulling this over. Okay, around that area, this is the 24th. What was happening on this MACD? Well, the 2 hour looked like it was going to cross and it failed, right? So it looked like it was going to cross and it failed. So that's curling back down. I was hoping this would be like, hey, it curled up for a moment and curled back down. What this tells you is that daily divergence is forming. The 2 hour is rolling down in negative territory, right? So rolling down negative, you're going to take out the low, make a new one. So 2 hour rolling down in negative, And then you just say, okay, now I have my 0.2 scale in, and I have daily divergence behind this as well. That's how I would treat it. Maybe the good example is like here. We actually had daily divergence forming at these areas all throughout this, but you see the 2-hour curling negative in negative territory a couple times here, right? So we pop up. What do? We curl down and go negative. And then right here, you have that potential for this divergence to take over. You have the daily that could cross here, but it curls down and goes negative again, which means the shorter term trend is down. But do I still have the divergence between these on the daily? That's what I'd pay attention to next. The daily probably going like this for a moment and then going back up. I hope that was a good way to explain it. Hopefully that was a little bit helpful, but pretty much you just need to know the 2-hour can roll over negative territory and you can still keep a 4-hour close to crossing. A lot of the time, if the 2-hour rolls over, then the 3-hour and the 4-hour are going to reject, and that usually means you're going to create some kind of divergence before you see an upward move. I hope that was helpful. Gold is sniffing out problems, up $74. Oh my God, gold it just doesn't stop. Hey everyone, hope you're doing great. JS, we hope you are doing great. My goodness, look at you. Bunch of J's in the chat. We got J, we got J-Dub, we got J, we got J. Any other J's? Damn it. I was hoping there were more than that. I think we're meeting up for a gap down for earnings with Google to overbought. And that's where it's good to pay attention to when those earnings are, because you guys know me. I am not trying to be a part of these earnings. I actually think this might be where we get dead cat bounces in some areas, maybe. Junior, J. Junior. Oh, you were one of the... Wait, nope, that's a new J. Sold my gold around 2,200, thinking gold wouldn't rip almost 500 in a few months. Absolutely wild. Tactical Ted, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Gosh, you are fantastic. Look at you. Hell yeah. Is AMD good to buy now? Well, let's go see. You know, we just want to see if there's anything we can form from this. And maybe we need to take the course in order to learn how to look at these stocks like I do, right? And we have that coupon code. Remember, just go into the link in the description for the course and type in water. You will get 25% off, right? 25% off the course for the next 25 people. That's going to be live till Sunday, but once they're gone, they're gone. All right, now Jim with a J. Let's go, Ajax. Ajax. Okay, so here we can pay attention and think of this two ways. It's good to look at stuff and think of two things at the same time. Right now, what are we seeing to the downside? Well, momentum is dying out for AMD, and we have a 2-hour divergence still here. But that 2-hour looks like it might want to cross. So if that crosses, well, negative territory, we're probably going to see a little bit lower. Where are we? We're in a point of big support. That's another tick for some kind of bounce happening here. Okay, so we have 30-minute divergences. We have them formed but not confirmed. Where is that divergence? Very close to positive territory. So this is how we go into this very in depth in the course. Okay, guys? So if you're taking the course, this is a kind of a crash thing, a crash course for you real quick. But in the course, we go way more in depth with it. We show multiple examples. We show little setups that I've taken before. And we teach you about those weekly ranges in it. But as of right now, 30-minute divergence. If this curls up, hey, we can see some positive side. Now, is that going to happen right away? Well, what's happening at this moment? Flagging. Flagging is happening. You're in a negative trend. Be careful if this drops lower. You can get a bounce from anywhere, right? If you're being tactical, you took this and now you take your profit, that's fine. Now you have to say this needs to reverse the trend by going positive. So I would wait for next week. Maybe retail sales ends up being a good thing. Your screen shows TradingView platform. Are the sell and buy signals provided by the platform accurate? It's not necessarily, I mean, it's right here. I'm just telling you right now, I leave them on for fun. I do not pay attention to them at all. You guys might buy this buy, this sell. I do not pay attention to it at all. I literally create my own reasons for a trade like we talk about in the course. I really don't. It's more of a fun thing that I leave up, and I will toggle them off if people think like, hey, when this thing says buy, I should buy. Well, look, when it told you to buy right here, crossed up on the MACD, started to approach the center line in the RSI. Look at that. Oh, you just lost a bunch of money. So just be careful with it, okay, Tina? And I'm not, and hopefully you're not taking this like I'm yelling at you or something. I'm just like, it will hurt you more than it will help you, right? This time it worked out, right? This time it worked out, but this is a play upward. You're in a negative trend. This goes up. This is in a negative trend. So overall, your consolidation negative trend crosses down on the MACD negative territory. You're going to take out this low and head lower. This sell signal got it pretty right. Right here, right before it crossed on the MACD. I'm not saying you can't try to, make it like a good feeling, like, hey, give yourself a pat on the back. We got the sell signal. Now I see that cross on the MACD. You got to wait for this bar, really. So don't put too much into it. On the weekly scale, it can be helpful. I would say if you see buy signals on, divergence on the weekly, I would say, yeah, you're probably good with that. Get her, Lucas. Light her up. No, we're not lighting anyone up. I know that people love to see an indicator that tells you when to buy and sell, but I can tell you right now, if stocks were that easy, everyone would be a millionaire. Are we pumping? Hopefully that was helpful with AMD. You have a way up, a way down. Right now, we're bumping. You have possible divergence down here. Uh-oh. But, volatility, if that remains higher, guys, just be careful. Remember, once volatility goes higher, you see more volatility, right? You see more price fluctuation. So we can see this, we can see this. What did we talk about before we broke out? Well, what if we break out? Let's see the daily side. Weekly side. We're not there yet, but if you get a breakout, a lot of the time you can retest. So what if we see, I would say, a 15-minute retest? Right now, the 15-minute well into positive territory for volatility, okay? So when it's well into positive territory, well, maybe we'll want to come back down to this level right here, this 1683 that we marked off. And guess what? 1683, look how we marked that off. I marked that off like a year ago as the important level to watch for the VIX. And look at that. Look at that. Look at it. Would you just look at it? Anyway, we could see this fall back down, retest that area. Guess what? This 15-minute MACD is in positive territory. So if that curls back up, volatility is coming back. Look for a divergence around 20. That's when I'd start to say a little something. Do I think the Dow will bounce back? The Dow has divergences on the 30-minute. Just so you do know. The Dow has divergences on the 30-minute here. We have the potential for a bounce, but it's like once you're this negative for this long, a bounce, even if it's a sturdy one, most likely just makes some kind of lower high. I'm just going to say that right away. And what we can do to figure that out is maybe pull up a 2-hour. Look how deep this is in negative territory. So even if the 30-minute shows you a bounce, and you can get those options to really suffer from that, we get a big bounce like this. Well, that would just get you close to the center line. What if we curl back down? Curl back down, negative territory, take out this low, go make a new one. So you can get a bounce from here. This is an area you can get a bounce, but will that bounce be able to sustain itself? Probably not. For your course, do we have our own time to study, or it's specific times? No. The course is, I made videos for it. Before I moved, I made videos for the whole thing. I had a few friends take it to test it out. So they told me, holy crap, this gave me a whole new perspective. And now I'm hearing that from, people on the live show. So I'm really loving that. But for the course, no, you can literally take it all in one day. You can take one piece of it per day. You can take it multiple times. Once you buy it, it's yours. You're a soccer player, right? Ever heard of Jasmine? They sponsored a team in Japan. No, I haven't. I haven't heard of that. I love my boy Son. Wait, is Son Korean or Son? Is Son Korean or Japanese? I love Japanese culture, man. Are defense stocks good to get off into due to war talk overseas? Are they good to get into war overseas? I would say TLT is, if a war really does fully break out, you're most likely going to see the flight to safety with TLT, bonds and commodities, maybe. Son is Korean. Oh, I love Son, man. I was a big Tottenham fan for a while. All right, let's just make sure. There might be some people. Okay, we have only 20 courses left so far. Okay, 20 courses left. Look at that. In 25 minutes, if you really want to get it, you got to snag that bad boy right now. 25 minutes, we've sold 5. So I just want to keep you updated, and I think I can mark it to show if it's still available. And if you're, we'll say this over on Patreon, but if you're a part of the Patreon, we're going to give out, that deal will be available all the time on Patreon. But just make sure, guys, this is like a big moment for you because volatility is going well up. It's a good opportunity to learn a little bit over the weekend. So thank you to everyone buying the course. Let me know what you think. Like I said, email me, message me on Patreon, do what you got to do if you have questions, because I am not one of those guys that just wants to leave you in the dust, right? I want you to understand it the best you can. Go Gunners. Let's go Gunners. Tottenham fan, sorry for you. Yeah, I'm not a Tottenham fan. I follow players. Because I was a soccer player, I have a really hard time like watching full games of soccer because it like my career was ripped away from me. I dislocated my shoulder twice, and it was out for about 4 hours the first time, and that was when I was getting scouted by the Red Bulls and New York City FC, and I would have, weirdly enough, I would have got to play with Pirlo. My buddy, who was being scouted with me, got to go do a training session with them, and he got to play with Pirlo, and Pirlo was one of my favorite players of all time, right next to Edgar Davids and Thierry Henry. So I was very upset, and I had to drive 17 hours home in a sling with a just put back together shoulder. So, yeah, I have a hard time watching soccer because I'm like, man, I should be there. The Euro Retirement League. Hell yeah, that's what's up. Hey, don't hate on it right now. Have you seen USA playing? USA looks good, guys. USA's been playing well. I'll say that. I don't know for sure because not too many games, but I've been watching some of the USA games, and they actually look like they're playing well. Do you think Apple is forming a cup and handle? Let's go see. Let's go see. Do you mean to the upside here? You think maybe on like a 30-minute making the cup, making the handle up here? It very well could if it wants to head higher, right? If they want to manipulate this thing more. Well, right now they're using Apple. Apple's the only thing really holding this up at this point. If you really believe this was such exciting news. Now, we knew a big move was coming, though. Now, you could argue for a big cup with a handle. I would just say that's a big cup, so I would really look for a solid handle or this to really consolidate in this area for some time and do something like that. Pirlo Italiano. Oh gosh, Pirlo was awesome. I cried when my friend was taking pictures with him after training, and I was literally in my car driving home 17 hours. I cried a little. I'll admit it, as a man, I was sad. You could form it more, Pando. I would really, for Apple to see upside, be patient. Wait for this 30-minute to curl down, curl back up, go positive, treat it like a little swing trade, see that go positive territory, bars closing above, start riding that up. That's what I would look for. You have to be very, very careful taking any kind of call side. The VIX is still up 20%. I was a winger. I'd say my play style was similar to like Thierry Henry when he was a winger. God, I wish I had my highlight video, guys. You could have seen me play. I had 2 highlight videos and they were suck. I'm very, very fast. I set a record at my school for the fastest 40 or something like that. I don't even remember what it was. It was what's it called? Where it's like not professionally done. Also, if you see me doing this, he looks very fast. See how fast I click between these stocks? That's how fast I am in real life. Okay, now let's look at a 5-minute, okay? We're going to go deep. We're going to go deep into this. No 5-minute divergence. Kind of trickle up buying. Could be a little flaggy here. Let's see if we hold as some kind of resistance at this level. That would be huge. When did you start day trading? I don't day trade. I'm a position trader who sometimes takes profit in the same day when you see a move like Apple there. So that's something to pay attention to because, that looked pretty good. But sometimes it happens in a day and I get out and I look for the next trade. Sometimes it takes a week and I have to scale into a position. But overall, I'm not necessarily a day trader, but I've been trading since I was about 20. But I was very fundamental from like 21 to 20, 22, or 20 to 22. And then I lost a lot on a Zillow earning, so I stepped away. And then I got, I was still into it a little bit, right? Buying things here and there. But it wasn't till about 2020 when I started to go through some turmoil in my life. I lost my business, lost my house, I lost all that stuff. We've talked about this before. And that's when I started to get into the technical side. And it genuinely was like something that put my life in a positive trend, I would say. Yeah, I buy out of the money. Oh God, what? Oh, it is happening. Oh shiz. Oh God. Oh no. 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 Ah! Oh my God. Holy shit. How old are you? I'm 30. I'm about to turn 32. I turned 32 in August. So I've been around for a while. I've done a lot of stuff. Almost played pro soccer, started my own business, created my own app. It was a app where you could pull up your phone and look for restaurant specials of local businesses near you. So if you wanted a happy hour or something for a business meeting, you would look at my app and find a place close to you and take the person to a business meeting there. But pretty cool. But obviously, COVID put that out of business. Well, it could be profit taking. It could be profit taking. I mean, if you're not seeing a reaction from TLT and the bonds, really, which you're not, you're actually seeing that sell off as well with TLT. So this is actually telling you, bonds actually telling you rates need to go higher, and gold and silver could move higher. Euro traders taking, yeah, it's 10:30. So Tactical Ted literally did say like 20 minutes ago, hey guys, gold's really overbought. Nvidia's pumping. Let's go watch that for a moment. All right, guys, I'm going to say this is the last reminder to get that course today, right? Get that course 25% off. Trade like water. So the coupon code you can use to get 25% off, save yourself $50 for the weekend. Take a course, come back with a new perspective on the market, a little bit better. Always learning is a good thing for a trader. I'm still continuing to learn as a trader. Moving forward is the only way to go. So you can get that for $50 off this whole weekend. Remember, the first 25 people get the 25% off. Use code WATER, WATER. And what we're going to do right now, it's Friday. Friday's the day where I like to spend some time with my girls. I would love to stick around and be with you guys all day. I really would. But right now, family time is very important. I do have a very small baby girl, and I think that's very important. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a full breakdown. Let's look at 5-minute charts while we do that breakdown. So it's really good for today. Okay, 5-minute. Really got to pay attention here on the SPY. You're coming up into a point where it's go time. Do you gain this back and use it as support and head higher? Start to rebuild cup handle type deal. Start to build upward, and then this is a fake out. Or does this selling continue? We use this as resistance and we break through this right here. So you have two scenarios here. You retake this and you head upward, create a cup and handle. Maybe the craziness continues. If you actually start to close the day, close the day below this level, gonna be very, 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 very rough. Okay, so we're coming up like this. Moment of truth is right in front of us. Maybe we'll leave it here for just a brief moment. Check back at the cues real quick. Notice that's going through the same thing. So we could get that cup to happen in a handle. This is looking a little less flaggy, right? It's looking a little less flaggy here. Love gold long term. Love the minor sector if we see a good pullback. And I think a pullback is definitely perfectly fine. Coupon is water. Yes, WATER. All caps. If it doesn't work for you the first time, it's all caps. All right, and moving along here, IWM looking forward, right? This looks a little bit like we could see a similar thing going on, all right? We could see a similar thing going on where we don't necessarily have a weekly range, but what if we just do something like this and reject? So we're going to check back with the SPY periodically just to see if we're seeing that rejection at this moment. Actually, if someone could just keep their eye on the SPY, see if it's rejecting, and then yell out rejection in the chat if that starts to happen. But Apple looking like it might make another upward move. 5-minute positive territory, maybe recreate a divergence up here outside of the weekly, outside of the daily. This one here, if you create that divergence on the day, you want that to happen pretty quick. If that starts to happen by end of day, it could just like You know, a lot of the time the big move won't happen right away. So a lot of the time when you go like this, you create the divergence, you can get wonky stuff for the rest of the day, and then your options just screwed. So be careful taking daily things on this. But I just say this is a zone where we've sold off a lot before. So if we do form 15-minute, 30-minute, 5-minute divergence up here, pay attention, because we could see that just drop off very quickly next week. We do have retail sales on Monday, so pay attention to that going forward. 5-minute for Tesla in negative territory, coming up into an area here. Well, were we able to build back up into our our daily expected move? Tesla, we were able to build back up into it, and the weekly expected move, we didn't even go outside of it, really, did we? No, we did not. Yeah, we did not go into that. So the upside of the weekly expected move is a little bit higher. I think this is a point where we just have to pay attention, rolling down in negative territory towards the center line. So pay attention to there on this 5-minute. Amazon on the 5-minute, similar thing. You're going to see a lot of similar things. This is trying to buy back up. This could be your dead cat bounce. So really just pay attention. If this goes positive, you have the opportunity to do cup and handle. If it's able to go positive, just rolls negative again, though, you're most likely going to test this low at least, maybe even head lower. So pay attention to that going forward. NVIDIA, something we're going to go over. NVIDIA here, scooping up. Everything's going to look a little bit similar. That's why we're just going through it pretty fast. Just look for some rejection up in this area. We did buy back above that daily expected move. Maybe we'll go into a 2-hour for this. I just want to show you the 2-hour in positive territory, but what did we say about NVIDIA when it came down to here? It's deep in negative territory, so the likelihood for a lower high is pretty good. High, lower, low, lower, low. If that starts to happen, you're in that negative trend, and it's not looking pretty. 30-minute here curling down. What if you just get a small divergence here by end of day? Something you should be paying attention to. AMD. This one, you're just paying attention to that 30-minute divergence. But I want you to note here, a lot of stuff is doing this right now, right? A lot of stuff is starting to build back up. This ain't really doing that. So even on the 5-minute here, look at that. Look how flaggy this looks. This does not look good. It looks like consolidation, just roll over negative territory. AMD, I'd say if you get good news, that'd be the only thing that allows this to go up, because the structure here is telling you, hey, this negative trend is going to continue. Now, we could build up. We could build up for a while, get up towards this center line, and then cross over. That's what you got to pay attention to. But 5-minute crossing over could mean some bad stuff. Meta seeing a similar thing, building back up into an area, right? We could do this, get a little mini head and shoulders, something like that could pop up. But as of right now, you have to say it doesn't look pretty. We're still negative on a 5-minute. Maybe we want to go into a 2-hour, see how that looks. Well, we rejected the crossing as of right now. So high, low, lower high. Do we make the lower low and confirm that negative trend before earnings? So just pay attention to that going forward. Remember, inflation is still higher. So if people are still consuming, we're still seeing retail sales numbers print pretty good. We can actually see good earnings. So pay attention to that going forward. But Microsoft here, curling down, wasn't able to break through. When this breaks through, it's going to be ugly. But until that happens, we could get this daily MACD to roll up. So I'm not saying everything has to crash down. It's just volatility is higher now. So we're going to see some big price swings. But what if that is a swing up, swing right back down? So now we'll just have to pay attention to this going forward. If it crosses on the MACD, going up, as of right now, rejecting on the cross of the MACD. So if you break through this wedge here, it's going to be pretty ugly. Let me show you that full wedge. Look how far back this thing goes. So you're in like a wedge over here with a wedge over here. And that's why I'm thinking maybe Microsoft does something like this and then goes all the way up. And then we see kind of like this happen. And then we get the election to happen. So that's still possible. But how the market looks right now, it looks like we're about to experience some big red bars. We'll have to see if that happens, but that can take a lot of time. So volatility can swing back and forth. Google, this one's starting to top out. Okay, this was the trade that I was posting because I feel like this divergence here looks good. And then if I go into a 2-hour, this divergence, you guys who are taking the course this weekend, you're going to get really good at this stuff. You're going to get really good at this stuff because this hasn't even crossed over yet. So you're still waiting for confirmation. I used the 30-minute to get into a position a little bit earlier. And I was going to scale in if this went up here, but that didn't happen. I'm waiting for this 2-hour to roll over. Does this look like continued strength? Well, we're positive in positive territory. We can see that. But from a momentum perspective, if this crosses down, negative territory looks very, very likely for Google right before earnings. So we'll pay attention to that. Other ones we want to pay attention to, SMCI, this thing not fully breaking down yet. Remember, this 30-minute was able to cross, but look at that. It's holding up. That point we're paying attention to is still important, 903.11. We can see a move up from here, but what if that is short-lived? You know, this could, I guess, be, you know, left head, right shoulder, a little bit of a slanted headline here. We could head higher, but if I just draw it a little differently, boom, let's clone this bad boy, boom. And we got a little bit of a flag going on, right? What if we just are doing this? Trickle, 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 trickle. Boom. 2 hour crosses over negative territory. So I'd really be paying attention if this continues to go negative. And then if we see some wonky sideways upward movement, look for the 2 hour to get close to this center line. I think this 2 hour has a good shot to get close to this center line and just roll right back down. So lower high looks likely, even if you get an extended move, right? Kind of like NVIDIA. Looks pretty likely to do something like that. So I'd pay attention to that going forward. I think the last thing we really need to talk about is volatility, and that thing's dropping off. So these 5-minute RSI divergences kind of giving us a hint there, but we kind of expected a bounce because we're outside of those weeklies. Now the 30-minute, I want you to see how high up the 30-minute is. Okay, the high up, it hasn't been this high up since over here. So at this moment, you got to say, what if this doesn't fail back down and go negative this time? What if we hold above 1683? We know that's an important point. What if we just do this and then see that turn back up? So I'm going to be paying attention to the MACD turning back up and going positive. That's what I would say for volatility. The big thing we want to be aware of, and I know I'm not reading chat, I'll get to you guys 1 second. I just want to really get through this and give my full attention to it for you guys. Where is volatility right now? It is above the 200 still. Remember, this was a huge warning sign because now that 50 is getting even closer. The moment looks like it is right around the corner. It looks like we were right in saying, at least at this moment, we're kind of right in saying we're probably going to have that top in April. March, we said, hey, it's going to be a trappy one. It was. April looks like a time for a top for a correction, if not a stock market crash. And therefore, we got to say, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but we're doing pretty good. We're trading like water, and that's the important part with the stock market. Just signed up, Lucas. Looking forward to your classes. Thank you so much, Tina. Really, really do not hesitate to email me. I think I had Robert took the course. He emailed me, and he asked a bunch of questions. That's perfectly fine. And he was like, holy crap, you actually sent me a whole paragraph or two back. I'm like, yeah, I'm literally helping as much as I can. I don't want this to be like you take it and you're gone. I want you to understand it and then go on with yourself. Go on and do better. That's kind of what I'm going for here. So just wanted to look at, let's take a last little peek. Well, let's look at TLT real briefly here. Seeing that fade back down. This is what I'm saying. I think this was a fake out. The inflation play is still on. So even though you have stuff like gold, let's go to GLD for a sec. You see this kind of pulling back. That makes sense. But is it really topping out? Well, we get retail sales numbers, and you do have a 2 hour divergence, so you could see a pullback here. You really could. But is that gone? Probably not. The inflation plays here. CPI is higher. PPI probably rigged. We'll have to see if retail sales comes in hot. It's not looking good for the inflation play. Our import-export numbers look very bad according to inflation. We are exporting less than we are importing, which means we are paying out more than we are getting paid. That is not a recipe for success. So just be careful out there. U.S. oil, similar thing, right? Now, U.S. oil, this has been consolidating. This is cup and handle, baby. This is cup. This is handle. We could literally see this thing keep going next week. So be very cautious out there. Now, for the rest of the day, I'm going to go spend it with my girls. I think that's important. You know, we're doing well. So on Fridays, I do like to chat with the gals, go hang with the gals. We're going to go to the gym, actually. Me and Mom are going to go to the gym. So that's going to be pretty fun. As of right now, we're not able to build back up above this, by the way, on the SPY. But I just want to say I really appreciate you guys coming by. Remember, 25 people for 25% off. First 25, get it. $50 off for the weekend. Get a new perspective on the market. Get how I see things and get a nice bear market strategy as volatility is starting to creep up towards 20. Now, you can use that strategy when you're above 16 and stuff like that. It's just really, really good when you're in a bear market. When you're in that above 20 area, it'll be really helpful. And we use those ranges as well. And we talked about them in depth. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Robert, go ahead. I'll answer your question real quick. Where's the link to your course? It is down in the description of this video, in all my videos. Robert, what is it? Go for it. Come on. Give it to me. Do you focus, consider, do you focus, okay, I'm just going to read it like this. Do you consider breakaway gaps? Yeah, you can see breakaway gaps. The thing that I really have been studying as far as gaps go is like island reversal and type stuff. Okay, so like for instance, if you see this, just keep breaking down. That makes total sense. Gap and go, right? Gap and go. But if we would now gap back above this level and start to retake, you'd have that kind of island reversal going this way. So I'll research more into gaps and stuff like that. We actually talk about gaps in the course a little bit. Sure. If not, we should, but I'm pretty sure we talk about gaps because of the, you know, they like to be filled within 5 days and things like that. But I can look into breakaway gaps a little bit further. I don't really get asked about that type of stuff a lot, but I don't really trade. That's one thing about gaps. I don't really trade gaps too much because that means I probably missed out on the move. So when I see a gap, the important things with gaps, okay? So actually something that's very important with gaps around the weekly range that we actually talk about in the course, I'll give you a little cookie for it right now. If you gap below these lines, if you're on the daily, you gap below, that's a very, very bad sign. Because you're automatically starting the day in an area where even the market makers didn't expect us to get there. So that's why if we would have gapped down to this level and then seen this selling, you know what would have happened? We would have gapped to here. We would have taken out this low, right? If you just do this, right? Let's say we put this like here. And I know this is kind of fun, but look at this. All right, cool. Now let's do this. All right, so now that we know we would have broke down to here and we would have pushed back up to around here. Well, what's at that level? This right here, our support. This not gapping below this and doing that full trend down allowed it to remain above this support instead of breaking further down, using that support as resistance then and heading lower. So that is very, very tricky about the market. That's why gaps outside of daily ranges and weekly ranges can be kind of nuts. But if you stay above it and stay above that daily range in the gap, now you have a better chance to take that up because you're not losing the support. I thought that was something very, very cool to show you guys. Once you get good with the course and things like that, you'll be able to see these supports and things like that a little bit better, but divergence and weekly ranges will really help you out. So really appreciate you guys coming by. Make sure to grab that course, $50 off for the weekend, trade like water. So the coupon code for that is water and the link's down in the description. Many are eager to fill the gap, especially if created in overnight market session. But yes, 5 days is a valid consideration, but gap trades generally are easy money trades. Yes, and so after a gap happens, I might look for slight divergence. What day of the week is it happening? If it's happening on a Monday and I see a little 15-minute divergence over the next, over that day, okay, then there's a good chance for a bounce. Is that going to fill the gap? No, but I don't have to fill the gap to make money. All I need to see is if it gaps down on a Monday and then it builds up, retests, and gaps goes like this, gives me a 15, 30-minute divergence. Okay, now I can play the center of my range again. That's kind of how I see it. I still wait for a trade setups. I do not YOLO anything. All right, guys. I gotta go. All right, thank you guys for joining. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for always liking, subscribing, commenting. You know, we talk about random stuff sometimes. It is a lot of fun, and I really do appreciate it. And I highly encourage you, even with this upward move, look at volatility. It's a little bit higher. So let's just be a little bit careful holding stuff over the weekend. We don't know what things are going, let's be risk managed because some crazy things can happen over the weekend. We know the Middle East is starting to scale up. We could have a war and things like that. Volatility is remaining higher, so a little bit scary to hold some stuff over the weekend unless you have a longer term expiration, I would say. So thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. Make sure to grab that course. Make sure to grab that course down in the description. No, grab that course down in the description. Code WATER. Use that to get $50 off. All right. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If I see some trade setups, I'll be posting them to Patreon. Links down there as well. But other than that, hope you have a good weekend. I'll see you guys on YouTube over the weekend. See you tomorrow morning. Peace.